Good evening and welcome back to the Mancunian way. We are back live. It's Thursday night, just after 9:30. You know what that means? Thursday night chat is in the building.
I thought you meant you know what that means, Martin. Late again.
All right, Baldy, calm down. Anyway, good evening, Gozzy. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Good to see you, Andy.
And you, mate.
Oh, you can see him. I don't know if it's good. Evening, Andy. How are you, mate?
I'm fantabulous.
Feeling the breeze?
That's not Costa.
No, I've got no car for the next 2 days.
Oh.
And they don't deliver. They only do lamb, chicken, and fish.
Hey, da-bum, bum.
Evening, Vader.
What's going on? Hope everyone's well.
Hello, Vader.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm feeling super expialidocious today.
Wow, super.
I'll just nod.
Well, listen, this may not go 2 hours tonight because we're going to talk. There's only 2 subjects. What we might do for the third one is we may throw a Q&A into the comments. We may do 20 minutes of you firing if you want any questions. So what I will advise, in fact, yeah, we'll do that. It's a good idea. Something Ozzy wanted to do a couple of weeks back, so I think tonight's a perfect way of doing it. What we'll do is if you've got any questions, throw them in. I'll star them up and we'll come back to them in about an hour's time. And we'll do that. And we'll do it that way. So, yes, unless obviously we answer any of them coming in. We are going to start with a little bit of transfer news. Then we'll kick on into the Community Shield boycott. And because obviously we've not had our say on this here on this channel. I seem to have done all my talking everywhere else on it, but not done any of that here. Probably because, yes, I am going. Yes, naughty boy. I know. What a bad person I am.
You know.
I am naughty boy.
Yeah.
It's personal choice, mate. And the thing about it, when we touch upon it, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, I'm joking. I am being facetious because I know, sadly, it has caused a little bit of split in the camp, which is quite sad to see. But because the 1894 group, that wasn't the intention of it. The intention wasn't to cause a split with people, and it's not. It's more the minority than it is the majority, but it has caused that split. And I know from the 1894 group that was never their intention to ever do that. The intention was to, it's your choice. This is why we're doing it. It was an attack against the FA, not let's shame each other as fans. Anyway, so we'll kick off with the first one. See about a thumbnail. Bernardo Silva. Now, there's been rumours again today. Then again, go on Twitter, read the newspaper, you'll get a load of new rumours about it tomorrow. Oh, hang on, he's here. Should we let him in?
Alan!
God help us.
Take it Ozzy can't say because his face didn't change.
Helen!
Evening, mate. Morning.
Morning, boys. Sorry,
Hey, Alan.
I always
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Overslept. It's 9:45 at night.
Well, it's 6:43 in the morning here, mate. I was watching
6:43 is oversleeping for Alan.
I know it's.
I'm still in bed at 6:43. I'm oversleeping today.
I was watching the test match till 1 o'clock in the morning last night. So,
and that's enough for the boring stuff. Anyway, let's move on to football.
Swiftly.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I'd rather pop my eyes out with.
Don't be negative against other sports, mate.
Martin, you don't like tennis?
No, I was on about cricket.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, okay.
Exactly, mate. There you go.
England and
Scotland's Andy Murray was getting beat before.
What a shame.
Don't be negative on other sports down there, Alan. Anyway, yeah. Before we do that, there has been an update on the Josko Gabardio. Fabrizio did his YouTube channel earlier on today and said it is virtually there. They're just ironing out some very, very minute payment details, which will probably be around about bonuses. But he should be in by this. He will be in probably by he will be going to Japan and South Korea, basically.
Although Madrid are sniffing round him.
It's done, mate. Anyway.
Throwing it out there.
I'm throwing it right back at you.
Yeah. Signed.
True.
Mr. Negativity is in the house.
It's true, though.
Alan, when RB Leipzig's chief exec comes out going, the guy who's begging to go to Manchester City, he's coming to Manchester City, mate.
Has he got a Manc accent?
He has, but I can't do a German accent or whatever it is. Sorry.
Croatian.
So that's the other one. Cole Palmer, there's still talk. There was talk of Brighton. There's now talk of Leicester again. Obviously, Cole Palmer will go where Cole Palmer will be gone. There's no update on Cancelo, no update on Laporte. If anyone wants to buy Cancelo, we'll stick an address in and you can send the details to us and we'll bang them somewhere to say, because nobody wants to buy the guy at the moment. So
I think
he wants to help us.
I think he's going to end up in Italy.
I think he might only at the moment. He's going to end up in South Korea and Japan with a very awkward situation.
Well, he can go and train. He can go and train on a junior pitch with all the kiddies and stay away from the first team, please. Don't want him anywhere near.
I don't even want any near the kids, Alan. I don't want.
Yeah,
Well, let's not start throwing accusations.
No, I don't want his negativity. You know.
I came across someone's clipping that. Don't want him anywhere near the kids. Anyway, right, Bernardo Silva. Now, there's this Willy Wonty for 3 years, six transfer windows. Now,
you're on mute, Martin. You're on mute.
I know. Sorry. I've got two of these. There's those in the camp that are. I've never once seen a quote he wants to leave. Nobody's ever said to me he wants to leave. I've never read it anywhere. And they think it's all just paper talk and blah, 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 and he doesn't want to go anywhere. And then there's those who live in reality and can see the interviews that has been done and the interviews that have been said. And I've actually got some quotes from some of these interviews up tonight. Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk. He's recently just got married. He's now currently on his honeymoon. But at the moment, Manchester City have a squad of around 24 players. So technically, we can't really sign anyone else anymore until somebody else leaves. We're kind of stuck. We're kind of like, where do we go? So this is what I mean. City is Bernardo Silva. He basically is a domino that needs to fall very soon, because if City allow this to go into August and Bernardo Silva's not made a decision either way, we've not sold him and he's not signed a contract, we can't go and sign anybody else.
Why is it down to, look, I'm devil's advocate. Why is it down to Bernardo to make a decision when he's under contract?
No, that's what I mean. A decision has to be made either way.
Well said, Andy.
The decision has to be made either way. Because,
Martin,
I was just going to ask, where did you get the idea we can only have 24 players?
You're only allowed to register 25 people on a squad per season.
Yeah, but you can still have more players.
Yeah, but then you can't then play them. Can't play them then, Ozzy.
But he doesn't have to register Cole Palmer. He doesn't have to register, say, Gomez. He doesn't have to register.
Exactly,
no,
so you don't have to register them.
So you
English players you have to register.
It's a Barcelona scenario. They take players in, but they can't register them till certain things happen. So we can still bring players in.
Yeah, but City ain't going to do that. Let's think reality here. City ain't going to do that.
How do you know?
Because Pep's never done it since he's been here.
Always the first.
Oh.
Right. May I say something?
It's always someone who has to go against the grain, isn't there?
City, and more importantly, Pep and Chicky are not going to let Bernardo go unless they've got a replacement coming in who's as good, or if not better, than Bernardo. If they can't get a deal over the line for someone who's better or equal to Bernardo, Bernardo is under contract and he's got 2 years left and he will stay. He's already accepted that as a scenario with the club. Now,
have you spoke to him?
No, but he's on the honeymoon. So
let's not make sweeping statements. Let's not make sweeping statements of he's agreed to stay there.
Hang on. He's on honeymoon for another 10 days. So nothing's going to happen before his away comes back for his honeymoon, mate.
He's in Paris on honeymoon.
Yeah,
Declan Rice was on holiday.
Well, is he looting all the shops in every city in France at the moment and causing riots and burning cars? Because that's a great place to go, isn't it? France at the moment.
Alan, let's not do that.
It's true. It's true.
No, it's not. Alan, anywhere you live can be good or bad, depending on how much money you've got. Manchester is not everyone's cup of tea, but go to Wilmslow as a millionaire and it's a luxury, mate. It's a very different. So let's not do that. Paris is a shithole and this, that, and the other, because it wasn't a shithole to Dani Alves. It wasn't a shithole to Kylian Mbappe. Wasn't a shithole to Neymar. Let's not do this, Alan. Come on.
All right. Well, like I just said, they will not let Bernardo go unless they've got a replacement. No way in a million years.
And gentlemen, can we watch our language, please? Seriously. There may be children watching.
Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, this is the current Manchester City squad. Now, yes, people will say in a minute, well, they're going to leave. Problem is, there are no offers coming.
Yeah, correct.
So at the moment, we can't just say they're going to leave. And I'm going to count them up. And if you want to get your little pen and paper, you can do all that. Get them all up. It's on the website. Look, pen and paper's ready. So you have got Scott Carson, Edison, Stefan Ortega Marino.
And gone.
Yeah, just do 4 goalies. It's easier. If you wanted to, because there's no deal in place yet, there's still Stefan. Your defenders. Now, you will need a pen and paper for this one. Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake, João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Sergio Gomez, Emerick Laporte, Rico Lewis, John Stones, Kyle Walker. That's without Gavardio. Midfielders. Kevin De Bruyne.
You've missed.
I'm not including Wilson Esperan because he will go out.
No.
Who we missed?
Hang on a minute. Well, you can't say 1 minute that he's not gone yet, Martin. So you can't say
Wilson Esperan will go because that's a loan. I'm talking about Cancelo's a different thing than Wilson Esperan.
Did you mention Laporte?
Yes, it was Laporte. So the defenders again: Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake, João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Sergio Gomez, Emerick Laporte, Rico Lewis, John Stones, Kyle Walker, and Josko Gavardio will be added to that as well. The midfielders, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Rodri, Mateo Kovacic, Calvin Phillips, Bernardo Silva. Again, I've not included Palmer and Perone. And then you've got Julian Alvarez, Haaland, and Mahrez. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 to 24. And Pep likes a squad of about 22. When I've looked on it today, over the last 3 years, we've gone with a squad average of about, last season was 21, season before was 22, season before that was 23. So it's always gone down each season. So that's why at the moment.
Is that the players he's played or what he likes?
No, just because what he tends to do is gets a core of his players and then he brings in, because I think they're under 21. They don't have to be included in the 25-man squad. So that's where, I mean, you said it a few weeks back, Alan, very similar to an Otamendi situation.
Yep.
Is they're all on high wages, and I will get into the comments in a minute. I will come to them. I do apologise. So that's why, if anyone's worried, it's why it's a bit of a go slow at the moment. Not because City aren't looking, it's not that City aren't willing to buy. You've got to get some out.
Yep, well, because of the wages, it's difficult.
And I'm not sure loaning is something they ideally want to do. They would like to get shut rather than a loan. So
the problem you've got though, Martin, is that with if you're not going to sell to rivals, which some would say we made a mistake last season by saying to Arsenal and Chelsea, you know, Europe isn't exactly flush with the cash, you know, and then do a lot of players in their prime want to go to the Saudi league right now, you know, like the likes of Laporte, you know, Cancelo, Mahrez possibly because you know coming to winding down his career. So you've got to think, City have got to think, do they sell to direct rivals or do they have to sell them a bit on the cheap to somewhere in Europe?
It's not. It's still. Even if they go on the cheap, they've still got. You're going to go find players who are on 150,000 a week at City, and other teams can only offer them 80,000 a week. They're not going to take a drop. So City are going to have to pay them out just to get them off the books. That's the issue that they've got. And there's, like you said, there's only a few clubs in Europe can afford the big transfer fees that we would like. Paris Saint-Germain are one, but does Bernardo want to go in a farmers' league? Because it is a farmers' league. You've got one team, the rest are rubbish. And there's only probably one team in Spain that can afford him, and they don't want him. So what do you do? You know, unless Bayern Munich wants him, it's very, very difficult to get someone like Bernardo or Laporte out of the club, and that's the problem. Laporte, you know, there's been offers for Laporte from English clubs, but he wants to play in Spain. So unless Real Madrid wants him, it ain't going to happen.
Well, I think that's a deal that should happen because I think they need centre backs.
Yeah,
and he's got a year left on his contract.
I know.
They're
not looking at him, are they?
Which I can't understand. To be honest, I mean, I don't know if it's because, well, no, because he's now playing for Spain, so it would make perfect sense. Yeah. You know, if they came in at a valuation of, I don't know, 40 mil max for Laporte, I think City would accept that because one, he didn't play really much last season, year left, Spanish international. Why
unless
not?
Unless they're playing the waiting game and try and do it last minute because they'll get him cheaper because City will be desperate.
Well, the problem is you got is I just checked. Cancelo has a 4-year deal still.
Oh dear.
Contract doesn't expire until 2027.
Oh god.
Which I did remember he did sign a new one.
Yeah, he did.
Laporte still has 2 years. So it's not a just straight in, away you go. I know Laporte has turned down Villa, has turned down Tottenham.
Yep.
Because he wants to go to Spain. But as you say, Ozzy, nobody in Spain has money.
Do you not think players like Laporte are thinking, ideally I want to go to Spain, but I'm not willing to take a pay cut. So obviously it's money over career.
Well, it is with footballers, mate. They know that. It's all about cash.
Yeah, it just shows you, for me, with Laporte in particular, and before anyone says to me, or he won us the league, the back end of, not last season, season before, I don't care about that, in all honesty. For me, he's showing the same fight to leave City than he's showing the same fight trying to win his place back over Ake.
Well, he is and he's not, but he's got the same attitude as Otamendi. If you remember, all the hassle we had with Otamendi to get him out the door was we had to pay him for 12 months, a proportion of his wage because he didn't want to take a pay cut. He's under contract. Why should he? He signed a contract with City. Why should he take a pay cut? Because, you know, if it's all right saying, you know, I want to leave, but he doesn't want to relinquish 50,000 a week, whatever it may be.
Well, he needs to put a transfer request in then, doesn't he? If his desires like that.
Well,
have you noticed
do
that?
though.
That's what I'm saying, because he's just playing us. If it was me, listen, Pep and the team will know exactly what the situation is. None of us know what the situation is, but a scenario could be Laporte has been a proper whopper. He don't want to leave. He keeps knocking clubs back, so it's fine. Let's not register him for the squad and bring Gvardiol in anyway, and we don't have to register Laporte because he's our player. If he's been a whopper and he's been awkward, and this is just a scenario, devil's advocate.
But if he puts a transfer request in, though, Andy, he relinquishes his payout.
That's what I'm saying. So he's got a way up now. What's the pros and cons? If I don't put a transfer request in, I'm just going to sit, possibly not even in the City squad, which means I'm going to lose my international place. He might be able to go on a free transfer in 2 seasons, but people will be saying, America, who? He needs to leave the club for himself. If he's surely he's to relinquish his signing on fee or his transfer request. That's peanuts compared to what he earns previously, and whether he's taking a pay cut. Listen, if he takes a pay cut to go to, say, I'll just Atletico Madrid, he'll still be on good bloody money. It's not as if he's going to be on YTS wages.
But he's entitled to the payout then, and City don't want to pay people out because it costs City half his wages when also Mendy went. When it cost him a lot of money for 12 months. Let's see, just not registering, and let's see his hunger, see how much he really does want to play and how much it's money orientated. Because it always goes back to me with that Bogart at Chelsea. He sat on the bench for 4 seasons. Well, so did Sean Wright Phillips for 2 years. Chelsea, he was on a fortune.
Yeah, I think this is clearly he's not going because he wants to keep the money, and unfortunately, the ball is in his court because whether we register him or not, he still gets paid.
Correct.
And we can't force him to go elsewhere. So yeah, he's playing. He's it's a big gamble because he's choosing to see, or he's betting on teams still wanting him despite not getting any time on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's not forget as well, if we don't register him, that means he won't get winning bonuses because he won't be registered. So he has to weigh that up as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think we're all there, Lena.
Right. I asked a question on Twitter before, mate, regarding Bernardo. I just put a general question. If Bernardo goes this summer, what's your thoughts? And people are starting coming round to a little bit of where I've been at, and I've been getting loads of stick on Twitter and stuff like that, because I've been saying Bernardo, he just needs to go. Just needs to go now. It's getting boring. And people are starting to, although I got a load of stick initially, people are starting to come, saying, yeah, we love Bernardo, but it's getting boring now. He just needs to go for the sake of City, more importantly, and then him. Just fresh start. Thank you very much for what you've done. Now just go and start asking for a transfer request after 3 years somewhere else.
Andy, the thing
I
would...
Why would we let him go until we get somebody else?
No, Alan, just let Ozzy just say that, Alan. Go on.
I was going to say, when it comes to Bernardo Silva, the money we want for him, just give me a quick figure, Andy, what we're looking for.
45.
I think we'd take I know he's potentially worth more, but I reckon City would take 60 million for him.
Right, so 60 million, okay.
Yeah.
Name me the teams that are going to pay that for him.
No, I get that, but it could get to a situation where the transfer window closes, right? And he might throw a ball at Pep's face first week in September. So then he's not in the team anyway, because Pep won't tolerate that, like we've seen with Cancelo. So you've got to think: is it going to be detrimental? Is it going to be a bit of a slap backside because he didn't get his wish at leaving this transfer window, or is it when the transfer window closes? Is he going to knuckle down and be the Bernardo what we know? Well, in my opinion, apart from the Real Madrid second leg, he wasn't the same player, especially the back end of last season. So, is his heart really there? People say, "Oh yeah, he's running back, he tracks back." Me personally, I don't care. I just want to see. It just seemed like it could get to a situation now where that dressing room is going to be a little bit sort of like affected. Because
I can see where you're coming from, Andy. Yeah. I think the thing for the club is obviously they want their valuation met. Mm-hmm. I think we're looking at really at the moment we're looking at one club that are going to pay that kind of money for Bernardo Silva, and that's PSG. We know the two clubs don't have the best relationships because of the owner's background. So is that going to really realistically work? Time will tell. And
I think he'll go to Saudi. I think he'll go to Saudi. Well, I do.
The thing is that that could happen. That could work in some respects because they may let him have a 2-year deal if he wants to go back to Portugal eventually, because they may turn around to him and say, "Yeah, we'll throw money at you, and if you just want a 2-year deal, possibly," because they can be very flexible. Unlike another team where if he goes to like PSG, they want him to sign a 3 to 4 year contract at least, and they'll want to recoup some money if he goes, or they'll want to get their money's worth. So for me, the deal that makes sense, which we don't do often, and other clubs are starting to look at more, is the potential of swapping him. Now, obviously, there's a lot of rumours at the moment going around about Frankie de Jong. I like the player. I don't think he's a direct, because you were saying, Andy, that we need someone to come in who's his ideal replacement, who works the same way he does. I don't think Frankie de Jong is that player. He's a very different type of player. I think he would work at City, but you're not going to get that replacement for Bernardo Silva because I don't think that player's out there. I think the young kid that was mentioned in Spain, is it Vega or something? Yeah. I think he could possibly be, but he's so young, he's so raw. I think it would take some time for him to develop.
That was only a flitting interest.
I'm saying, Martin, what I'm saying is I don't see in Europe right now there is that player who can come in and replace Bernardo Silva.
I think Frankie de Jong could. I think Frankie de Jong's 10 times the player than him.
I agree with Ozzy here because although I totally get what you're saying, Ozzy, but you think what Pep's done when we've lost the likes of Sané, Sterling, we play different, so it could be, for me, the ideal replacement for Bernardo is Phil Foden. So instead of bringing a Bernardo type player in, Phil Foden is ideal for that, and we bring another wider midfielder in, so we've got cover for Mahrez, Grealish, Alvarez, around there. So we could change the dynamics of the team, play different. But I totally agree with Alan when he says before we even think about letting Bernardo go, we bring somebody is signed holding the shirt up saying, "I'm a City player." Right, Bernardo, now you can go.
I'll put another caveat on there, Andy. There will be a time limit on this. When it gets to a certain point in the transfer window, if we haven't done any business to bring somebody else in, Bernardo ain't going anywhere.
And I wouldn't let him go anywhere either, mate. No, if we don't bring somebody new, it's not got to be on Bernardo's terms. He's got 2 years left on his deal. It's got to be on Manchester City's terms.
Correct. Well, that's what I say to you about having a time limit on it. If you remember last year, Pep said if we get a good offer in within this time limit, then fine. But if we don't get an offer in within that time limit, it's too late. You can't go because it doesn't give you enough time to get somebody else in. So a lot of it depends on a lot of things. He's away on honeymoon for another 10 days. So nothing's going to happen.
What's going to be doing there though? He's just got married, so he's been married a few days, so he's only going to be arguing now. They're not going to be talking if they've just got married, are they? No, but seriously, like Daniel just said there, I'm a kidding with 60 million. What I meant by that, Daniel, was you've got to weigh the pros and cons up. If a club, say, just out of, just throw it out there, Bernardo could start getting a little bit disruptive, should I just say, i.e., like Cancelo. So Ozzy nailed it. What clubs can actually afford him out there? PSG. Yes, his wishes to go to Barcelona. I've not seen Barcelona knocking on the door for him.
They haven't got any money, mate.
Yeah. So then his other option, if and a big if, he is money orientated, he'll take an easy option and go to Saudi. He can go there for a year, 2 years, buckets full of money. Then he can go and play wherever he can go and play five-a-side for the rest of his career because he'll have enough money to do whatever he wants. But
I think we're missing a really big thing here. There's two things. What you all said for me, anyway, is right, but in all different, you're all picking different parts of the sixth segment. That's right for me. Yes, Alan, should be a time limit. Has to be before the end of the window.
No, it has to be at least 3 weeks before the end of the window.
Because what Andy's just said, the minute you go to, if you let him carry on into the season and he hasn't been sold, then what Andy's just said, Bernardo then does get the power. Because then he goes to 18 months in January.
Yeah.
Probably not going to move in January. So then you're into the last year in the next summer and he can go, right, I'll wait 12 months and sign a pre-contract with someone.
Yeah.
And City get Jack. The contract's been on the table for over a year, unsigned.
Yeah.
So he's not going to sign it. I don't know why people are thinking this is signed. For me, he ain't going to sign it. It's not about money. It's not about that. He just doesn't want to sign it.
It'd be signed by now if he was going to sign it.
He's not going to lock himself into a long-term Manchester City deal. We need to come out of this thinking of he's going to sign a deal. You know, if this was the first window, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that. People are going, well, let's give him another year. From what I've heard, that was last season's conversation.
Yeah.
We can't. This is what I mean. This is not one transfer window. This is 6. And people, I don't think he's unhappy. He is unhappy, Daniel. Not at Manchester City. He's unhappy with Manchester and England. He wants out of England.
He'll put a transfer request in for a different wife. He'll be happy then.
Well, I mean, I'll get you some quotes because people have told me that there's been no quotes from Bernardo Silva wanting to leave throughout any of this little fiasco. Let's have a look. This was an interview done. This came out from January last year, 2023. This is the one I was telling you about, Alan. He said, I'm very focused. It makes no sense to talk about leaving in the middle of the season. I've been at Manchester City for almost 6 years. A lot of respect for the club keeps appearing, and people know there have been talks between me and the club. People know there have been talks between me and the club. At the end of the season, we'll talk again to see what's best. This was where we're at now. I'm focused on winning more titles for City. We want to win the Premier League again, which he did. We've never won the Champions League, which we now have. I don't know how long I'll be fine. I'm 28, 29 in the summer. 2 more years on my City contract. My contract would then end at 31. I won't hide that my goal in recent years, if something good happens elsewhere, will probably to be moved to a new project.
He shouldn't have signed a new contract then, should he? Or contract extension?
That was January, Alan, when people and everyone has told me there was no comments about him wanting to go. Those were direct from his own lips. There was then another quote a year earlier to show you. This was over a year ago. Manchester City's Bernardo Silva. I asked for a transfer last summer. I was lonely in England. I wasn't happy. And when you're not happy, you can't do your best work. I spoke with the club.
He said he was lonely because of COVID.
Alan, I'm making the point of this is not been just one window.
Yeah.
That was over a year ago he said that. Said it again in January. He's made a, this is what I mean. When do people wake up and go, right? Because what people are doing is people are going with their hearts because they love Bernardo and he's got a really catchy song and we love him and he does all what he does. And everyone's going, I don't want him to leave. But
I don't want.
And people,
I don't want to leave.
But people are making and they're changing reality and changing facts. He's blaming his missus, blaming this, blaming that, and they've come from his own lips. Jack Grealish 3 weeks ago, he's on a tram going, "Please don't leave." Why is he doing that? Because Bernardo's not said out anything in the tram. Do you think they don't know? And that's what I mean about this. He's a domino.
Yeah, but
he doesn't sign his contract, and I don't think he will, because it's been on the table for a while. City ain't going to keep letting this carry on till they get nothing. They're not a charity.
I know they're not, but we still have to get a replacement in. And at the moment, I can't see anyone coming in at the moment, unless you're going to pay stupid money for Frankie de Jong.
Frankie de Jong, what were they quoted, Ander?
Frankie de Jong's not going to happen. Frankie de Jong's not going to happen.
They were quoted Cancelo, Bernardo, and 30 to 40 million quid.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
By the way, that was combined.
Vader, what's your take on this, pal?
Listen, I hear the point with regards to he signed a contract, he's got to commit to it 100%. But at the same time, how he's managing things, whether it's through him, whether it's through his agent, he's also realized, well, I have this contract that's been put in front of me, and I have the choice not to sign it. So I often see both sides, especially from the athlete standpoint. And if he's going to choose to play this out and just play to the end of this contract, unfortunately, we got to accept it as a club and obviously as fans. Do we continue to kind of hold him at arm's length and not embrace him the same way? Maybe, and that's a risk that he takes to kind of do this. But he's going for many reasons, and if it's clear that it's not a money thing, so we may just have to accept and say, you know what, we quote unquote take a loss on this, not being able to get him as an exchange or get value for him from another club.
I don't think
it's the issue is getting a replacement before he.
This is my point, Ethan. I love you, buddy, and think you're really big out. You've just put he's probably getting paid to say that. This is what I mean. We're now creating narratives because we don't want to face the reality, and that's a human thing. I understand that. It's one of our favorites. We're like, please, anything but, So it's like Gundogan. We all sat here going, Gundogan staying. I think there was only me and Ozzy went, and maybe Andy sometimes went, you know what? Some signs still. I
thought he was staying, mate. I'm one of many who thought.
It was only me and Ozzy. Then we were like, he's not signed this deal yet. Mm-hmm. And when it goes on, like Walker, the longer it goes, the thing it's like, there's another option. Sorry, my voice has gone. Like Terminator. Go on, Oz.
Yeah, just as you were going to pick up on Walker there. A few weeks ago, we were talking about Walker, and I've reflected on this a little bit. And I'm a massive Walker fan. I love him to pieces. I think he's been just since he's come from Spurs, he's just been phenomenal. And I will always respect him no matter what happens with him. But I was thinking about the situation with Bernardo. And I was thinking, he's 28, coming to 29. He has been a fantastic player. But the thing that started to worry me a little bit is that, and people can criticize me for this a little bit if they want, but this is something that I've been thinking. I think it's been talked about on other channels possibly as well, but is that Pep has got 2 years left on his deal. Okay? And we have got some players who are starting to age. The likes of Walker, the likes of Bernardo, the likes of Mahrez, KDB. The age of our squad is starting to creep up to the levels of, I'm thinking, Pep's got 2 years and he could extend, he might, but let's just say 2 years and he's done. I'm thinking that if we don't start getting in these replacements and they don't have the time to be under Pep, that's where I start to worry, because eventually Pep is going to leave, whether it's in 2 years or not. If he does go in 2 years and we've still got this Asian squad that we haven't properly replaced, we're going to be looking at a possible United where they let their squad age, and their manager left, the best manager in the world, a lot of people feel, especially on the side of Manchester. And you could say, yes, he was brilliant, but he let that happen. And for me, I don't think you can let Pep can go in 2 years and not have brought in the next generation of players to at least play under him, to train under him, whether they're first teamers or not.
Well, then you have a problem, though. Then you have a problem. If you were a 23, 24-year-old top player coming through, would you sign a contract without knowing that Pep's going to stay longer than 2 years? Because I wouldn't.
The thing is, though, that argument I understand, but the thing is,
say that about any manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Rice signed a 4-year deal, and Arteta maybe got him 6 years.
Yeah, but the attraction to a player is not the attraction to the player is not necessarily Man City. It's to play under Pep and learn from Pep. That's what they think.
So we're not signing any players when Pep's gone, then, Alan.
Yeah, because you can't look at it that way. I'm afraid you just can't.
And I agree, he's the attraction. Yeah, I know he's the attraction.
Pep will not let that happen.
Yeah,
what Fergie is, there's no way. It's a great point, Ozzy. It really is a good point, and it's something I've mulled over myself. I think the difference is Pep he's got friends in the club, all the way up to the top. He's got the greatest respect. If you read some of even people like Roy Keane and people like that now, it's all coming out how bad Fergie was and the relationship he didn't have with his bosses and stuff like that. With
Gabby Jesus. Gabriel Jesus. Just to name an example of players.
No, I said his bosses up the chain.
I thought you meant players moaning afterwards.
No, people like Cheeky, Caldoun, Saran, people like that. They're pretty much the same as family to him. So you think when his first press conference after the Premier League charges, where he goes, "I'm not leaving this seat," that was more than I am loyal to this club and my friends at the top, the people who've put all the trust in him. So I can't see that ever happening, Ozzy. A long answer to your question, mate.
Yeah, no, and I get that, Andy. I do. I feel that too in some respects, that I don't think he would. But at the same time, I just feel that, as Martin has made on several, quoted on several occasions, Pep likes a small squad, right? And if we're not going to bring some players in who are going to at least train under him over the next 2 years, and anything can happen in 2 years, he could have a massive bust up with the hierarchy for all we know, for some big reason. What if the charges are true and he's been lied to? And do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I always like to think you need to plan ahead. And City have been very good at planning ahead. And I just want to see signs of that. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. One thing we've got to realise though, and it doesn't matter. Say Pep, just again, devil's advocate, Pep leaves in 2 years, which I do think he will leave in 2 years anyway after this deal. Even if he gets all the youngsters in now to train under him for 2 years, and they're all world class for 2 years, once Pep goes, Manchester City won't be the same Manchester City. I'd love me to be wrong. We won't be as successful as we are doing now. People underestimate sometimes how powerful Pep is and how influential he is.
I listened to a show half an hour ago. There was a City fan on it, and I'm not going to name him because I was getting angry. Not angry, I was getting frustrated listening to him. Beta, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about here. You were on the show, Beta.
And a point was made where you're getting angry.
Yeah, because wasn't you someone on there went City were a big club before Pep.
What?
And I sort of flipped it. I was like, "What you on about?" But you know the trouble is, and you know who I mean. I don't know who the guy was. I got told he was a young kid, so you know.
No, he's a young fan.
Yeah, I'll let that one slide. I'm just saying to my point of some people do think Pep is Manchester City.
No.
There is that thought out there.
Is Caldo owners and Chicky and Siriaro?
No, but what I'm saying
Ferguson
is
had
there are people who think that we will crumble when Pep goes.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a level of expectation that it won't be at this level of success with a Pep. The same way we can all fairly look at other clubs and say, you know what, the success under Wenger was never the same when he left, because the brilliance of a manager, the brilliance of a Ferguson, the quality that he brought onto that club. I think it's fair to say, because I do think that Pep is one of those. He's a Beethoven. He's he's one of those geniuses that it may not be replicated with the next two managers that follow him. That may be the case. So I think I'm kind of speaking for that fan. I think that's maybe what he's trying to get at, as opposed to, you know what, without Pep, we crumble. Yes.
The reason why United crumbled when Ferguson went wasn't necessarily Ferguson. The guy above him went at the same day, same time, that's what threw United. The chief exec went at the same time, who basically ran the club. That's where it all went tits up at United, not necessarily Fergie. I think that's
fair, but then we're kind of discrediting Fergie for how he was able to be so consistent with the winning from a managerial standpoint. I get it.
Yeah,
I get our back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Woodward that came in and just made a complete hash of everything, didn't he? At United, let's be honest.
That's fair.
Yeah, if Chicky's still there and Siriaro's still there when they've left, and they've got Caldoun in charge, especially Caldoun. The guy can make nuclear war calm. He calms us all down at the end of every season when we're all panicking. I feel like I've got a hot. Sorry to say it, but I feel like I've got a hard on over the guy when he starts talking. He does.
How can you delete? Let me ask you a quick question. How can you delete a thought quickly?
I don't know.
God, I'm right there with you, Andy. I mean, please, give us that.
I love listening to him. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone listens to him.
But it's that thought, what you've just said.
I listen to all the time, Alan, but he's never had that effect on me, mate. Anyway, I don't know what you're going to each your own, mate, and whatever your lifestyle is, I'll back it, mate. But it ain't my cup of tea. But anyway, no, the thing was, the question was posed because if you look at everything that we've got right now, our squads that I get everyone is looking at our squad and think you're treble winners. And I've heard a lot of talk of we go on next season and we get the 4P and we go and get back-to-back Champions Leagues and we do this and we do that. And if me auntie had a set of balls, she'd be my uncle. And I've heard it all. Listen, I get it.
Why is it with genitals with you and Alan?
We don't. The point I'm making is right now is we don't know how our squad is going to react because bar Gvardiol and bar Kovacic, it's exactly as it was.
It's not exactly as it was, is it? You've got two new players.
Well, it's 2 in 2 out, Alan.
It's different than, isn't it?
So out of a 25-man squad, two's different to you, is it?
Well, mate, we've got McAtee to come back as well, which I want to discuss.
Oh, God. See what I mean?
Why are you thinking McAtee's not good enough?
Alan, because I don't sit on that. Because he ain't good enough, Alan. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, mate.
Alex got a good point there.
No, I'll just come to it in a minute. But the point the point I'm making is it's the sentimental road again. If McAtee was good enough, Alan, he wouldn't have been at Sheffield United, with all due respect. Was Rico Lewis out on loan? No. Did Foden go out on loan? No.
Well, the words came out of City, and Pep offered him to stay at City last year, and he wanted to go away to play.
Because he doesn't want to sit on the bench, Alan. Who are you dropping for him? I'm talking about what I mean is, in the terms of numbers wise,
I don't think McAtee's expecting, Martin. I don't think McAtee's expecting to come back and play every game. Just because he's playing every game.
So shut up, you. I'm not falling for it with your little.
No, I'm serious.
No, don't. No, I'm
serious.
Let Tommy Doyle back.
Tommy Doyle won't come back.
Why? Tommy Doyle had just about as good a season as McAtee.
No, what I'm saying is, right, well, it looks like McAtee's going to be in the squad. McAtee, although he had a brilliant season initially, he struggled at Sheffield United initially. He had a brilliant season for Sheffield United, right? However, he's not going to think, I'm going to come back, I'm going to take Foden's place, Bernardo's place, I'm going to play every single game.
No,
hang on a minute. Even De Bruyne doesn't play every game. Grealish doesn't play every game. Foden don't play every game. So what? There's no way McAtee's mindset will think, listen, if he comes back and he plays every game, it means he deserves to play every game. So fair play to him. So
So you generally think he's going to swap 40 games to come and play 10 and 15 at Sarah?
Yeah.
Man, well, that's fine. Totally disagree with you. James Trafford would have stayed.
Under Pep Guardiola, why wouldn't you?
James Trafford didn't stay.
Maybe that's down to attitude rather than.
We don't know McAtee personally. This is what I mean. We're going down the sentimental road again.
I'm not sentimental in any way, shape, or form.
Going down
nobody knows McAtee personally, so we don't know what his attitude's like.
But you're telling us what Pep thinks.
No, what I'm telling you is, I'm telling you what has happened factually. He got offered to stay last season. He said, am I going to get game time? Probably not. I'll go on loan then. So they agreed him to go on loan to sign the contract. They're going to bring him back, but from what I've heard, they're going to have a look at him on pre-season.
And rightly so. He's 12.
They're going to have a look at Gomez. They're going to have a look at Peroni, but we're not throwing them all in the first team.
Well, to be fair, Gomez was playing left back with the minimal minutes he played. Look at, and listen, under 21s or not, he's playing on a world stage, and he's having absolutely worldies out there. So, is it worth keeping a Gomez as a left-sided midfield backup? That's your opinion. I agree
with you, Andy. I agree with you totally.
Ask people in the comments now they've seen him in his natural position. Gomez has never been a left back. He's always been a left winger, stroke left-sided midfielder.
He's the same as Zinchenko in some respects. He's a midfielder that's been converted into a left back, and with Zinni, it took him ages to get as good as he got for us playing at that left back position. Gomez has barely had a sniff in this team last season, so I don't think you can judge. I think you're right, Andy. What he's doing right now for the under-21 to Spain, he's doing brilliantly, and I think that's all you can judge him on is that competition at that age. I think the other thing you're saying as well when it comes to McAtee, and I think this comes into who we keep and who goes, is that let's just say you're right and Bernardo pulls a massive wobbler, and throws a ball at Pep, and then, we have to loan him out somewhere or God knows what, then who's coming in to replace him? Yes, you've got the likes of Grealish and Foden, but what happens if one of them get injured? You're going to have to rely on a player like him to come in. Now, that's a lot of ifs, but the point is still valid that he's a great talent that could be used if Pep feels that he's got a value to the team going forward. And as Martin has rightly said, he'll judge that over pre-season, and he'll judge that over who comes in and who goes out.
Okay, then.
Can I just counter your under 21 argument? Who played for the under 21s last night for England and scored?
They didn't play last night.
All
Did
right,
they?
night
Oh yeah,
before.
Cole Palmer.
All right.
No,
Yeah,
but
where's Cole Palmer going?
I think he's going to Brighton.
Right, but why? It's good. In your logic, he played for the under-21s, scored a goal, was outstanding, as was Taylor Howard-Bellish, by the way, captain.
Okay, but let me answer my point then, because Gomez is actually playing in the tournament in his natural position. He's
Right?
playing in his
So he's getting in ahead of Grealish.
No, that's okay. So let's just class. Let's categorize the players. Let's categorize Gomez as a C class, right? What A class player are we going to bring in to sit on the bench? We can't have 25 world class players. We can't have the a full squad of Galacticos. Look what happened years ago.
That's a great point.
They had Real Madrid had every best player on the planet. They won Jack because you need all the different ingredients for a cake.
Yeah.
All right then. How do you get Borges in then? Not Borges because he's going. How do you get Oscar Bob in? How do you get the next crop in to come and have a go?
I'm not saying get Oscar Bob in. If Oscar Bob trains if Oscar Bob is training with a first team squad and he deserves to get ahead in, there's only Pep and his coaching staff who know that.
No,
Most fans don't know what they're doing in training.
I'm not saying, Maxime, my point is the only part I'm saying is, yes, have a look at my pre-season. This point came in because Alan's going, get McAtee in and play him.
Well, hang on.
You're not going to win the Champions League.
Hang on. Do you mind if I ask a question to the comments and the people in the comments? Can you give us your verdict on what you think we should do with Gomez and McAtee? And let's see what they say apart from us. Let's see what they say. So all I'm asking people is what they think we should do with Gomez and McAtee. Fire away. Give us your verdict on what you think we should do. Because you can't keep letting all these good young players go. I'm sorry.
Yes, you can, Alex. It's a meat factory, mate.
Oh. I know it's a money machine.
Well, exactly.
It is a money machine.
Alan, you need to realise listen, I understand. I was ask Vader, ask Ozzy. Me and Ozzy did streams on this 2 years ago about EDS, and me and Rob were sat there going, EDS, we want them all in, and we were like begging it.
No, I was part of it. I'm the old channel.
Alan, we knew with that comes no trophies.
But you can't keep letting every one of them go.
No,
you know what? You know what? I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one, Alan. I think the model works right now. I think obviously it can be refined, but because we have a sell-on clause, because we have a buyback clause, I think we get the best of what we're able to deal with because of the quality of our first team. So these guys that are coming through EDS and through the academy, and then they're trying to get first team minutes. It's so tough, right? So to have one or two on our squad makes sense because they're probably not going to get the amount of play that's necessary and the experience that they're going to need. We got to send them away. But if we have a sell-on clause, if we have a buyback clause, I think we can always bring them back into the fold and hopefully have them contribute. But like Martin's mentioning, there's only so many spots that we can really give up or allow for these players to develop under.
Liam Delap, winner.
Well, we can't with Lavia. Vader, we can't with Lavia because when we can pull the strings on that is 2024. So it looks like Lavia, if Pep is interested, we'll have to pay top dollar because.
And that's why I said we got to refine because we shouldn't have had that clause for 2024. It should have been sooner.
Because I double checked this, the clause would come into effect if Southampton sold us. We would still get first refusal.
Oh, we still get
Okay, Martin. Here's one for you. We get rid of Gomez. Who do we bring in for the left side of midfield as a backup to Grealish?
You got Foden.
what if Bernardo goes and we don't bring an adequate replacement? in for
No, that's
Bernardo?
this. Right back to my original question of Bernardo is the domino that affects our whole transfer window.
Hold on, Martin. Martin, you can't do that. I'm not going to let you get away with that. You're saying that Foden can't be the backup for KDB and the backup for Grealish.
No. He will rotate.
Mahrez.
No, this is what I mean. That will exactly. This is where the rotation comes in. It depends. If you look at Gomez, in terms of because for a start off, they're not wingers. Needs to come away from this wing talk. Left-sided midfielders. We don't do wingers or the left-sided forwards. Bloody hell, I feel I'm debating with Rich again. We don't do wingers. Them days have gone. Finished. It's now controlled, slow football. But if you look right now at our whole squad, Gomez right now is technically in. I'm just looking at it now. He's in the defenders group. Yeah. On the website, he's in the defenders group.
Yeah,
You've got Kanja, Ake, Cancelo, Diaz, Gomez. We'll say Laporte's gone. Rico Lewis, John Stones, Kyle Walker, and Josko Gabardio. He's not going to get in there. Forget that. He's like 8th choice down the list.
Where Stones he put on that list? Where Stones' position?
But it's not in a list. It's just a list of defenders. Talking about on my list is about bloody 8th.
Where you just said that Gomez is classed as a defender on that list you just said.
Where would I have Stones? Second or third? I'd have him. I think he'll play right side. I think he'll either play right side centre back or right side.
No, but what I'm saying is Stones will be classed as a defender, but we've seen back end of last season who's playing in midfield. Rico Lewis is classed as a right back. When he's he's played in centre of midfield.
I'm getting this. But what I'm saying is John Stones will play 30, 40 games. Minimum.
Absolutely.
Right? Is Sergio Gomez, how many games did Sergio Gomez play last year? Minutes-wise.
He played minimal, so why are we judging a player who plays minimal? Same as Calvin Phillips.
So what you want is we just keep the same squad every season.
No, not at all.
We don't improve. This is what I'm saying.
Hang on, Martin. He's not said that. He's not said that.
I just said not at all.
Let me finish the point and I'll explain. If you're saying keep Gomez, keep Phillips, keep him, who are we selling? You're only allowed 25. Pep only wants 22. Who do we keep? We can't. Who do we keep to bring in? This is what I'm saying.
Have you spoke to Pep?
Keep everyone.
Have you spoke to Pep?
No, I'm going off facts for the last 3 years. He wants, and Caldu's interview 3 weeks ago, Pep wants a small squad.
Well, that is.
So is Caldu lying?
Eh?
Caldu lying?
What?
He's got right hard on for.
But he didn't turn around, Mike, and say he wants 22 men. He just said he wants a small squad.
Yes.
So we've never had a squad over 22 for 3 years.
All right, Martin, but we don't know what's going on. We're guessing. No, Martin, you're going to have to concede to this fact. You don't know.
Ozzy, you're not giving me facts. What you're saying is...
No, Martin, you're going to let me talk. It's not fair. Right, you talk. Let me make my point, please. Right?
Go on then.
You don't know the number because you're not Pep Guardiola. Yes, he wants a small squad, but we don't know the exact number. It could be 22. It could be 24. We don't fully
I'll have you
know.
50 quid back right now. It's less than 24. 50 quid
extra games next season?
3.
Yeah. But Martin, you also think you just turned around only 10 minutes ago and said rotation. If you don't have the players to rotate for injuries and games played, all right, you've got to have a certain number of players. You've at least got to have up to 24. We don't know the true number up until the names that come out in the beginning of that season. So at the moment, we are all guessing. Okay, you could be right, Martin. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you don't 100% know.
I never said. I just said you got 2 of these. Ozzy, use them. I said for 3 years, Because if you want to be a prick, I can be one right back. If you use these, what I'm saying is, for 3 years, our squad has gone down size-wise. For 3 years. That's what I said. I did not say, so that is where I'm going off who wants a small squad. Then Caldoon, 3 weeks ago, says Pep notoriously likes a small squad. That's what I'm going off. The point I'm saying is, if we want to keep Gomez, we want to bring McAtee, we want to do all of this, who goes? But nobody's answering me that. Nobody's answering me that.
Yeah, we refresh. We refresh. The likelihood is Bernardo's going to go, so somebody's going to come in. You can't set.
Can I ask this? Could the reason why Pep has had the small squad in previous years was because of the age of the squad? Was because of the trusted veteranship from a Gundogan and Silva and KDB? Could there maybe an adaptation to maybe have a larger squad with more youth, with the youngsters that may be in the rotation that we're kind of thinking about? Like there may be a change to what's been done the last 3 years, but I hear your point, Martin. But there may be a change that could take place.
I'm only going off the last 3 years. So when people are saying, "Where again?" If he change it, he has to change it.
That's fair. That's fair.
He has to refresh.
I'm only asking a question of if people want to keep Gomez and all of them in and bring McAtee in, who goes out?
And I ask you the question: if we get rid of Gomez and Phillips, who do we bring in for those two players?
But no one's mentioned Phillips.
No, but he's still on the cusp, isn't he? Of is he good enough? Like we're saying, Gomez isn't good enough. So surmising, Pep says, Martin, we're going to get rid of Gomez. We're going to get rid of Phillips. Who should we bring in to replace them? So if you're Pep Guardiola, what would you do?
Personally, I don't know what this is. Why I'd said with the original question about Bernardo being the domino. This was the whole point. Bernardo is that domino because we can't make any decisions until we know what Bernardo's doing. If Bernardo goes, we've got to bring in a midfielder. I personally think we need two.
How does that affect Gomez, though? Because we was talking about Gomez.
Because what do you do with Alvarez? You've got Foden, you've got Mahrez, you've got Grealish.
Well, Gomez, at the moment, as it stands for City, is a backup left-back. So he's not going to use Alvarez as a backup left-back, is he?
So this is what, right, are we putting him as a winger or a fullback? I'm lost now. Is he a winger?
You said in that list he's down as a defender.
Yeah, he is. So he's not getting in at all at foot of defence.
Well,
because he's got about 7 in front of him.
Martin, you just said you want to buy 2 midfielders. There's only one spot. There's only one spot, really, to bring in.
I'm of the presume that Cancelo, Laporte, and all them go.
Yeah, but they're defenders.
No, I mean spot as in squad numbers.
Yeah, well, we don't need 2 midfielders. We need 1 more. That's all. KDB's not going to go till the year, probably a year after or a year after that.
Well, I honestly believe we needed 2 midfielders anyway. That was just my belief. I'm just saying is that it all depends what people want to look at it as. Are we looking at Gomez? And we've turned it into a big debate on bloody Gomez. The point I'm making is if people want to bring McAtee, Alan, you want to bring McAtee back?
Yeah, I do.
People want to give Gomez a chance. People want to do this. People want to do that. Then we won't sign anyone then.
But no one's answering my question. If the majority of City fans, not just in here, if the majority of City fans want Gomez gone, who we're going to replace him with? Nobody can answer my question.
Doesn't need replacing.
Of course
if you're going to use him as a defender, he doesn't. Because we've got about 9 defenders.
But he's not a defender. We know he's not a defender, regardless of that list. We know John Stones is a defender, but he can.
I'll give you a scenario. If Gomez goes, and he decides to disappear and go somewhere else for game time, then bring Wilson Esperand back. He didn't do bad. He didn't do bad for us. You can't sign a world-class left fullback because he's not going to get games.
Couldn't get in at Coventry, Alan.
No, but I'm getting Alan's trail of thought there, and that's why I said before, if we're going to use Gomez as a backup left-sided midfielder,
you need someone to prepare to do that.
If we don't use Gomez as a backup left-sided midfielder, for numbers-wise, for the squad what we've got, who we're going to bring in to replace a left-sided midfielder if Gomez goes, you're not going to be able to bring in an A-lister because what Alan's right in what he's saying, he's not going to get game time unless Grealish, as Mares, Grealish drops. This whoever comes in, and then all of a sudden you've got Grealish unhappy, so you'll have two A-listers fighting for that position. We've seen it with Laporte, haven't we? Laporte can't get in, so the unhappiness there. Cancelo's not a bad player. It's his attitude, and it's all about the attitude and the harmony of the squad.
Correct.
I'm just honestly of the belief, and it's listen to what you want to think. I don't think Gomez will get a chance. I just think, sadly, people who want, like Alan just talked about Wilson Esperand, no chance is he coming back.
You've got to have someone who's prepared. Hang on, Matthew, you've got to have someone who's prepared to sit on the bench and be backup. You're not going to get, like Andy just said, you're not going to get an A-grade fullback.
But we did. Who was the bench last season? Riyad Mahrez.
Oh, last season. I'm still thinking the season before.
You had Riyad Mahrez, Calvin Phillips, Emerick Laporte, Julian Alvarez.
Laporte. It's like
Julian Alvarez. You had Cole Palmer, which will get replaced probably by Oscar Bob. You've then got Sergio Gomez was on the bench, and there's your 7 for the Premier League. Enrico Lewis sometimes.
Are you telling me, right, scouts around the world are not watching this under-21 tournament and going, do you know something? That kid, that Sergio Gomez, he looks a player on the wing there.
No, I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is I'm not getting giddy on the under-21s tournament.
Why not?
Like, for me, it's like no, but scouts get giddy on an EDS. I'm talking from a fan's point of view. I think it's a massive jump from under 21s on EDS to a Manchester City first team.
Why do you want to have in them?
I'm not saying that because Pep likes.
If Cole Palmer goes, McAtee comes in. Simple.
Mm-hmm. Which is effectively a like for like.
Correct.
So McAtee's happy to sit on a bench because Cole Palmer. That's why Cole Palmer's going out, Alan, because he didn't play.
Do you know all the people who want Oscar Bob in and they want...
No, it's Pep who's apparently said this. He wants Oscar Bob in.
I've never seen a statement from Pep. Maybe I'm wrong, but you've got Borges, Oscar Bob, all these people want them in. I'd like to ask these people, do you actually watch every single EDS match to warrant these players coming in? Because I'm sure if we dropped Gomez into the EDS, we dropped Cole Palmer back into the EDS, we dropped anyway, if we drop them two back into the EDS, they would shine out. So people are saying, why don't we get Cole Palmer in the first team squad? Why don't we get Gomez in the first team squad?
See, Cole Palmer lost his confidence last year, and he did.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if them two players, Alan, was playing regular for the EDS, people would be saying them two players need to come to the first team squad. Now, Martin's absolutely right. It's a huge jump from the under 21s to the first team.
I know this is why I've always said, and Andy, you're of age to remember, why they should go back to the Central League.
Yeah, they should. Reserve team football. They should do.
They should have a reserve team football league, so it bridges the gap slightly. Because playing against kids every week is different from playing against men. Which it is.
Are we saying that Borges and Oscar Bob are better than, say, Gomez and Cole Palmer? We can't say that because we've not judged them in the big Premier League, Champions League, what Palmer's played in, and Gomez, the FA Cup. You know, we've not played him with men's football, if you like. We've not played him in them. So at the moment, we want to replace players like Palmer and Gomez with untried players. When Gomez and Palmer are a year down the line, they know what it's about. Yeah,
just so people who are young on the channel here that don't know about the Central League, as it used to be called. When the first division days before the Premier League existed, they had if you want to call it, a second teams league,
reserves
where the men could play who weren't playing, and you'll play every single week. So if they weren't playing first team, they'd get the form back in the second team. The way it stands at the moment is the under 21s, so there's no room for grown men to get their form back if they lose their form. So
I totally get it.
I'm a big fan of the used to be called the Central League reserves. People call it.
I totally agree with you, Alan. But I genuinely totally agree with you over reserve team football and stuff like that. However, players now, they're worth millions and millions and millions. So if they got in a reserve team game where you get some big big doofer, what goes through them, you know, trying to prove themselves, they could end a career of somebody who's a multi-million-pound player. So I get it both sides, but substitutes don't get enough time on the pitch these days, and we've seen that not just at City, all over. So it is definitely lacking. But where do we go with it? We just don't know.
I've had this discussion with someone at City who's quite high up, and he agrees with me. How do you bridge the gap between the EDS juniors on the 21s, 23s to playing first team football? And usually, if they're not progressed and got chances when they're 23, there's a problem. They should be moved on. But the end of the day, how do you bridge the gap and make them progress quicker? The only way to do it is bang them out on loan. That's the only way, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And playing in the Championship. It's the only way of doing it. I know Chelsea do it a lot, didn't they? But the danger is they never come back, which I would like to see some players do come back and get a chance.
We're not going to
come back.
I know. We've not had one that's come back.
Listen. The point is, you and Andy are fighting on, and Ozzy, you were fighting on a point I thought for 2 years.
Yeah,
I've come to that reality. It's a meat factory for me.
I've always said
it's a money making. It's a money making machine.
The problem is you've got a 24-man squad now. We want to add. We can't add because there's no room. We're struggling to get players out, and bringing in kids from the EDS is not a refresh for me. When I mean a refresh, I'm talking first teamers. I don't want to refresh my bench.
The young lads can come in. They're not part of the 23, 24 squad you can have.
It depends how old they are. Like Cole Palmer's now 21 and over, so he doesn't count anymore.
Yep.
Got to be under 21.
A point there, what Muddy Duck's making to me, mate. I totally get what you're saying, pal.
This is what I was saying to Ozzy earlier, but I got slated for it.
No, but listen, but just hear me out then. So I'm classing a 19 player core, of who are going to be playing week in, week out. So who's going to come in as the 20th player who's an A-lister, the 21st player who's an A-lister? That's why you need your Gomez's, your Calvin Phillips, your Cole Palmers, not necessarily those players, but the likes of them at that level. Who's to say McAtee won't come back? And you know something, after a year in men's football, because that's what he's played in the Championship, who's to say he's not going to be an adequate substitute for the last 15 minutes in every game? We don't know until that scenario may or may not happen.
What happens if you do that, like you did against Leicester? Because you were there, you watched it, you saw the attitude, you're 3-0 up, you're coasting, you're flying, you go, all right, I'll take all my boys off and I'll bring all my reserves and kids on.
Why does he have to take them all and not what?
No, but that told me, Andy, straight away, a lot of them are not ready.
That tells me it's quite, and try and aim me out.
Side.
No, for the people in the comments, just aim me out what I'm going to say. If that happens, because we saw it in the derby, that's just silly management, bringing 4 and 5 players on at once. That is just silly. If you're going to bring, say, a McAtee on, you bring McAtee on for one other individual. You don't bring McAtee, Palmer, Gomez, Phillips on for De Bruyne, Rodri, blah-de-da-de-da. That's just stupid.
He did the spine. He just took the spine out of the team right down the middle.
Yeah, and that's what happened. If you do 1 for one, you don't see much of a difference. When you're bringing 4 or 5 on for 4 or 5 at once, you see a huge difference. The rhythm of the game, the momentum of the game.
How do you get these? How do you get McAtee then to play the happy medium then? Because Cole Palmer did not play a lot last season. Let's be straight now, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Go on.
So if McAtee comes in and does what Palmer did this season, he isn't going to be happy with that.
How do you know?
It was James Trafford, and you know what happened there.
No, the difference is Trafford's not really been at City. The difference with McAtee, the scenario is, right, you can stay out on loan or we'll sell you full time. Or you can come back, have adequate game time if you deserve it, and that is it.
Yeah,
not just for sentiment. If he deserves it, it's up to McAtee then to go, you know something, I'm probably going to get decent amount of minutes under Pep, the best manager on the planet, or I can go and play for Billy Bloggs full time and not really develop. That's down to McAtee. If he's got the heart for it, he will come back and play, say, 20 games overall next season rather than 40 for somebody else.
I'll tell you something, Andy. He's got the talent.
Talent will always break through. We've seen that with Foden and Rico Lewis.
Yeah, he's got the talent. Definitely.
We don't know if he has, though.
Exactly, we don't know. And we're arguing about something we don't know.
He's got a talent. Has he got Manchester City talent?
We don't know.
Big difference.
He's got to work under Pep to find out.
Pep's given him a contract, so Pep must see something in him. You're quite right that nobody's ever come back.
We've gone way off topic here. The topic was actually about Bernardo.
He saw last year him.
I don't know why we've gone down an EDS road.
But Bernardo, there'll be a time limit on Bernardo, and we have to have a replacement. If he hasn't got a replacement, he ain't going anywhere. Simple.
Get Muddy Duck on.
I know.
Muddy Duck's always welcome on. Muddy Duck's always welcome on if he ever wants to come on.
Is it, where's Ozzy gone? Where's Ozzy gone? Oh, well.
So let's move on to the next subject then.
Which is
Community Shield.
For me, people who want to go, absolutely, you go, enjoy it. Not a problem. I won't begrudge anybody who goes to the Community Shield. It's everybody's got freedom of choice, whatever they want to do. Anybody who criticise people who are boycotting like me, if they criticise people who are going, they bang out of order. Absolutely bang out of order. It's down to a personal preference. And my preference is I'm not going.
It came out that the original tie was going to be on Sunday, the 6th of August at 5:30. And City fans were very unhappy with that. Very, very unhappy with that. It then got changed to 4 o'clock. And again, some fans are not very happy with that. So what the 1894 group decided they were going to do was, and there was some of this, if you go on to 9320 podcast, there was Dante on there last week talking about it. I think it was last Sunday, talking about it with Andy, myself, and Marie, Stan and Paddy, talking about this whole scenario. And MCFC Foodbank got together with 894 and they decided they were going to do a big, massive boycott, and they were going to do promotions and help and raise money for the food banks. And they did a Just Giving page and everything else, and they've raised up to now over £6,000. Maybe
7.5 now, mate.
7.5.
Yeah.
There you go, 7,500. So you got 7,500. What you then now, however, the club have not come out and said anything about this.
Can I say something? Can I ask a question?
The club are going out to Japan. They're going out to Japan and South Korea. So it comes back to the problem of, obviously, we're not going to go. There's going to be a lot of empty seats there. The fans, and when you speak, it's more about it being at Wembley in the kickoff time. And they're just, City fans have had enough of going down to London all the time. So go on.
Can I ask a question, Martin? What TV coverage? Who's doing this? BBC? Is it ITV? Is it Sky? BT? Who's ITV? ITV. Well, in that case, ITV will cover the loss of attendance at any stadium if there's a fall off due to being on live on television. So
where was that?
My mate, the BBC and ITV have always done that. They pay a fee and cover if there's any people that don't go.
By the way, Shea Charles will be signing for Southampton for $9 million in the next coming days. Stop looking at your phone.
I just think that I don't really care less about the Charity Shield. I'll be honest. To me, it's a glorified friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't want to go, that's their business. And if people want to go, then it's up to them, isn't it? But it's, I don't really give a shit whether they win or lose that game. I really don't. Take the under 18s.
But as I say, mate, anybody who is boycotting it, like myself, who criticise people are going, that is bang out of order. Because what Martin quite rightly says is he'll be taking somebody who's never been to Wembley before. So it's unfair on those who've never been the only opportunity to go to Wembley. So I can see both sides perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's up to the person, isn't it? I would never pay to go to a Charity Shield game. Charity
begins at home, mate, in the pub.
Currently in the world at the moment, everyone needs the money, don't they? So, and that's our world over.
The tickets are on sale at the moment. So I'm going yes because I'm taking people who've never been before. So that's where I'm at. I don't think they will play the academy. Neither if they play the academy, I don't think they will. I think they'll play a lot of first teamers because we're playing Arsenal. If we weren't playing Arsenal, I think it might. If say it was Leicester or a Villa, I think he'd have played kids because it's Arsenal. They're going to want to play the match. Someone's going to want to lay a marker down. Remember Liverpool last year? He played a ball.
Yep.
So
I can't remember who he played, to be honest.
Yeah, because I remember Haaland missed from 2 yards out, and everyone went, "Haaland's crap, and Darwin Núñez is going to be world class." Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
You remember
turned out right. Them Liverpool fans, didn't they?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So it's simple. That's what it was. It was, and I think that's where I personally don't think it's a big enough game. I think it's a start. Here's a question for you. Will they go further? Will they go to the next level? Will they sacrifice to go to the next level?
Who, the boycotters? No. So
I get why it's been done, but it may not have the actual effect they want, if you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
But by all accounts, it's been a successful campaign, if you like. It's certainly turned heads from people like myself who would normally go to the Charity Shield, sort of Community Shield. I know a number of people who are not going for the same reasons. But as I say, I wouldn't begrudge anybody who does go.
I mean, Alan, we talked about this privately the other day, and you were sort of sitting on the fence with this one.
Well, it's not sitting on the fence. I've never taken it, as I call it, the Charity Shield seriously, ever. You know, to me, it's a warm-up pre-season friendly. And if players are in Japan come back on Wednesday, and we've got
Tuesday, Wednesday,
yeah. And the bigger game is Burnley away the week after. I don't want the players injured. It's dead simple. I do not want, and let's face it, if we lose against Arsenal at Wembley in the Charity Shield, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit.
And it's not even a week, Alan. It's on the Friday, mate.
Well, there you go. And then we play Burnley. Now I give a shit about that because it's a proper game for points.
I don't have to be every third word, Alan. Don't mind the odd swear word, but it's not every third word, mate.
It's true. I literally would take the under 18s, under 21s. I really would.
I would.
I really, really would. And I'd be surprised if Pep doesn't, because we've got a Friday night game, I'll be surprised if Pep doesn't play them or play a lot of them.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it. It'd be different if we played on the Saturday because we'd get that extra day. Yeah. But also on that, they're going to have jet lag. So for me, just I'll fill it with academy lads and
absolutely
the other lads with the likes of, like your also runs, if you like your Phillips is your
absolutely
Gomez is if Palmer's still there, or your McAtee will be back by all accounts. I'd do exactly the same.
With a game on the Friday, if it would have been Sunday we were playing for the first game, different. But it's Friday. Can you imagine if Rodri gets injured or Haaland or someone like that gets injured, in the Charity Shield?
What will the fans say?
You'd be going mad.
Why have they played them in a meaningless friendly?
Correct. It's a meaningless game. Yeah, you get a shield. Big deal.
So did Gladiator, and I wasn't too fussed about that either.
At the end of the day, if they lose 4-0 against Arsenal and they play their full side and Arsenal get 2 injuries, I'll be laughing at them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't know, because I see this season as the most competitive season ever.
Yeah, that starts the week Friday after.
This is my whole point about when I was talking about the refresh earlier. I don't see this as I don't think a refresh. When I mean refresh, I'm talking first team. I think people are talking like we're going to just win 4 in a row, win a double, win a treble all over again. I don't ever look at it that way. It ain't FIFA. So to me, we need to be ready. We've come back late. Yes, I understand. And this is my point. Because Pete, you just all said it there. It's a friendly.
It is. Glorified friendly.
Right. Why boycott a friendly? Because I get it. And like I said, the sentiments are right. And I'm not saying anything I haven't said before anyone attacks me, and go back on Andy's show and you'll hear this. Exact words. To me, a protest has to be big, loud, to the point. It's not big enough to make the point.
I agree.
But if you're not willing to go to the next length to make that point, why are you making the original point?
Yeah.
And that's why I did both, because I agree with it. I've done my donation, but the FA aren't going to change anything.
Nothing's going to happen. They've changed to 4 o'clock, haven't they, from what I can get?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to change it.
People getting home at 3 a.m. in the morning. Where are they getting home at 3 a.m. in the morning? Are they walking home?
I remember getting home from Wigan in the FA Cup final at 3 in the morning, mate.
Depends if you're in a car or on public transport or coaches, because coaches have to wait till all their passengers are on. You might get some people on the lash, who make it back to the coach 20 minutes, 30 minutes late. So straight away, that's delayed. Everybody gets home at different times because they live in different areas, and B, they're on different kinds of transport.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The FA want money because they've got to pay for that stadium, which I get and understand. The fans are quite right in thinking, well, it's only the Charity Shield. And a lot of them will have that attitude and think, well, I can't be bothered. And the others is the expense of Wembley and being at Wembley when it really should be in the Midlands. And I get that. Yeah.
We did ask that, Alec, by the way, about banners. There's going to be nobody down there from 1894 to do the banners.
Yeah.
So obviously the boycotting.
So
it was something Rich said to me a while ago. I can just say, back paper with a homeless man, City fans don't care. And they'll twist it all rather than going, City fans make £8,000 for.
And the NTFC food bank will go, actually, they don't, because they've raised all this money for our local community.
It's a difficult one, Martin, because I understand why you're going, because you want to take your kids down to Wembley. Right, I get that and understand that. And you don't want to go there with the playing the juniors. I'm afraid quite a lot of them will play because we're playing on a Friday the week after.
There's no right or wrong in this scenario, and I keep saying that about the boycott. Yeah. There's no right or wrong, mate. People, if they want, like I keep saying, if people want to go. I'm not going to turn my nose up at them. And everybody I've spoke to who is boycotting it, they feel the same way. It's hello, was it?
All right, mate.
G'day.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate.
But
there you go.
How? This is my point. I get what you're saying, and I get because I said it sounds. I feel like I'm against the boycott, and I'm not. I'm not against the boycott. I very much agree with the boycott. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's going to do anything if we're not willing to go further with it, because it isn't going to do anything.
We'll only know properly on the day with bums on seats, won't we? Whether it's effective or not. Now, whether the bums on seats will be, I don't like using the word normally, it's like your day trippers or people manage to get tickets because they've never took a member of the family or friends to Wembley before. That will be reflected in the atmosphere and everything anyway.
Yeah. I'll be surprised if they get 60,000 at the game.
No, how many City fans? I'm assuming Arsenal.
Half. I reckon half. And I reckon half will go, and I'll be completely honest with you. They'll end up trying to sell the tickets in the city end to Joe Public down in London.
Have Band on the Wall sold out now?
Very minimal, but I believe they're putting other venues on.
So I just think they'll end up trying to sell tickets to people in London or tourists are in London, which there's a lot of.
However, I don't think anybody's asked this question to anyone. Do you know, like the Band on the Wall and say other venues what are sold out? That's not necessarily just boycotters. That could just be, there's a game on there. We don't normally go to a match anyway, but we'll go to these venues anyway. So we won't know the true numbers till the day.
Yeah,
at Wembley, not in the Band on the Wall and stuff like that.
So, do you know how much the tickets are at Wembley for the charity?
They've not even been released.
Well, there you go. If they're expensive, people are going to say, "See you later."
This is my thing. Why the club keeping stum?
Maybe something in the background is happening to a 3:00 kickoff. We don't know. It's just speculation, isn't it, mate?
The club don't get involved in any of this for anything these days. They don't pass comment anymore, and they don't. And they don't.
Can we be honest, Martin? You're going Wembley for the Community Shield. Yeah? I don't get your point to that one, Bob.
Well, the thing, I'm going to ask you a question. Your son that's going with you, yeah, people that are going with you, do they want to go? Do they want to see Haaland? Is that what they're after, as well as Wembley?
No.
Okay.
You got to remember the two reasons I'm going and the kids are going. We've not had football for at that point for 2 months. And yes, you have a break, but you always want to get back to your first game again. Everyone looks at it as the first game of the season. If you're in that, it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, people have just got choices this time, haven't they? Because of the boycott. If there wasn't a boycott, you'd get people just begrudgingly going. I'm quite happy I'm not going because I know it'll be silly o'clock when I get back. Chances are I'm going to be up at silly o'clock for work on the Monday morning. It's about time fans stood up for themselves a little bit. You've got other northern fans and even some southern fans now what are actually on board with what the food bank and 1894 are saying. So that bodes well because after the initial Mickey taking, have you Trump there, Martin, and you're smelling it?
No, I'm keeping quiet because you said something and I thought I'll keep quiet. Because you said, even if it's 4 o'clock kickoff, I've got to be up for work and I don't want to go. And you know what I was probably going to say. You misunderstood what I was saying. I said if it was a 4 o'clock kickoff and there wasn't a boycott, I'd probably begrudgingly go. But because there's alternatives and for what it means, fans sticking up for themselves, I'm more than happy to be on the side. Well, it's not a side as such. On the way of thinking of, I agree with what the boycott's about. Totally agree with it. So I'm going to be watching it at the band on the wall because it's going to send a statement out regardless. And it's already sent a statement out to the FA because they backed down from 5:30 to 4 o'clock. So media have got involved in it as well, sort of like national journalists and stuff like that who've jumped on it. So yeah, I'm happy to boycott it for what it is and put my money to a local community food bank rather than put it in FA's coffers for wherever they want to put the money. I'm choosing where my money's going. Sorry, Alan. Someone's answered your question now. You asked about
new
my
signing.
children. That's one of my children answering you. I see Alan every week.
He's going to see Calvin Phillips get 90 minutes. He's going to see McAtee get 90 minutes. Gomez 90 minutes.
McAtee might even get 90 minutes as well.
Listen, I saw Gomez in the FA Cup semi-final. Thought he was crap then as well. Hey ho. And I got
judging him after one game, are we?
Sorry. Gotta give everyone a year.
We did with Grealish.
No, this is what I mean. It's a weird one because
to be honest with you, mate, I don't really give a two hoops about the game. I really don't.
Ollie, what do you think? Is it if you could go, would you go or would you join in the boycott?
I can't go, for one, as much as I'd love to go in some respects. I think I'm kind of leaning towards where Andy is, if I'm honest, because I don't agree with what's going on currently. You know, I think there's more of a society look at this, and I'm not going to do a rich, I promise. But I think there is, with things going on at the moment, I think the FA could be doing more to help fans, just like we're asking the government to do more to help with cost of living. You know, I think with City fans, we have played so many games. We've gone for so many titles. We're calling Wembley the Etihad of the South. City fans have had to make this trip so many times. I just think it's about time that the FA and the game itself actually give something back to the fans and go, you know what, actually, this is unfair. You know, these people are working very hard under really hard circumstances right now. You know, we have more food banks than we have McDonald's in this country, which I think is a very sad state. And I just think, I think it's about time that people should stand up and say, you know what, no, I've had enough. I've spent my money. I've spent a lot of money. I think it's now time for the FA to think, we've pretty much paid off at Wembley. We've got all these big concerts that are coming. You know, tourism isn't going to stop for London. What about the rest of the North? What about the Midlands? Do you know what I mean? It's quite easy. They could do, you know what, forget this. Let's just get everyone up to a neutral ground and have it there. You know, so as much as I'd like to go, I wouldn't go on the principle of, I think, as Andy, I think I'd rather put my money, go to a good cause, because the way things are, I think my money could be spent at better places right now.
Absolutely, mate. That was a good speech, that, mate. It's gone all somber now. But it's right. But as I said, Ozzy, I don't know if it when you was off screen. I won't begrudge anybody going either. It's down to personal. You know, it is personal choice.
Yeah.
Can I throw it the other way around? Colonel Ward's an Arsenal fan down in London. And like you said, is that London team's fault that we're closer to Wembley? They didn't complain when they had to come up here in the early 2000s.
With all due respect, the economy is in a different state of 2000.
So two wrongs make a right. It shouldn't. No. Wembley shouldn't even be in London. It should be in the Midlands, in the middle of the country. As much as I love London as a city, which I do, I'll love going to London. It should be in the Midlands.
But has Ozzy got a point? Is it because we've been so many times we're just bored of it?
No.
If we'd only been once, all right then. But because this is what I said to Danton the other day. Say we'd only been once in 10 years, would they have boycotted?
No, but because we've been so many times, I'd like to say our voice is louder now.
Can I ask what's special about Wembley? No,
it's in London.
Nothing, mate.
Nothing's about it.
It takes forever to get out because you've got all the opposition fans, say whether it's Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans on Wembley Way. Everybody's queuing up. You know, all the fans together, waiting to get on the tube and stuff like that. Obviously, the Arsenal fans and that have got a nice little short journey, but we're being delayed. It's not their fault that they've only got a short journey, but we're being delayed. We could be in that queue for an hour and a half before we even get to the tube station, and then we've got to start travelling up north when they've only got a couple of tube rides away, stations away.
You'll be getting home at 2 and 3 in the morning on a Sunday night when you've got work next day, guaranteed.
Speaking of which, I've got to disappear because I'm up at 3:30 in the morning for work.
No worries, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Will speak to you tomorrow.
It's been heated, but it's healthy, and hopefully it's made a good show.
I'm not giving it. I'm just going to play a host in future. It's easier.
Stop being a slap backside. See you later, Alan. See you, Martin, and see you, everybody in the chat. See you later.
Bye. See you soon, mate. All right then, Alan. You made that good point then. February, we make the Carabao Cup final.
Yep.
What day are they normally on?
Usually on a Sunday.
What time kick off?
4 or 5 o'clock.
Are we boycotting that?
Yeah, that's a proper game now.
But this is what I'm saying. Mate, exactly. Ozzy's smiling because he knows
what
I mean.
The Charity Shield is I know, Martin. The Charity Shield.
You're arguing the semantics of the game's importance, really.
The Charity Shield is a friendly, and that's all it is. The Carabao Cup, the League Cup, as I call it, which is the proper name, is a proper trophy. The Charity Shield, mate, it's a joke.
Right, no, but joke. The 1894 and not and not protesting because of it being a friendly.
Yeah.
I spoke with Dante on this. The debate, they're protesting over the time and the day.
Well, they're right.
Generally the time.
They're right.
Not even Wembley.
We've got, mate, as a football point of view, we've got a more important game of the Friday after. So we're not going to play our first team. No way. Right? He's going to play some kids in that side. Guaranteed. Because of that game on Friday, right? Against Burnley at Turf Moor. That's more important than a Charity Shield game, a pre-season friendly. It is. Plus, the fans are having to travel down to London on a Sunday. If this game was on a Saturday, different scenario altogether.
I've been to Wembley loads of times on a Sunday, Alan.
I know, but it's wrong in this circumstance. It's wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
wrong.
This is what I'm saying about the Sunday thing. Is what's baffling now.
People don't have the money, mate. They've just paid £4,000 or £5,000 to go to three weeks ago to go to Istanbul, and they're expected to pay £100 a ticket to go, if not more, to a Charity Shield game, and £10 a fucking pint in Wembley Stadium, whatever it is these days, and then petrol, and then you're driving up there, and you're going to get a work for three hours later. People are just not going to do it. And it's all right, the Arsenal fan. I fully get where he's saying, but they're in London. Different scenario. It should be in the Midlands, and I've always said that the Charity Shield it should be either on a Saturday, and if it's not on a Saturday, it should be moved. Simple as that.
I think it's the same thing when it's been the England debate, hasn't there, where England have to keep playing at Wembley because it's Wembley, but it got a better atmosphere, and a lot of people preferred it when England were actually touring around England.
Yeah. That's why I agree.
Yeah,
and let's be honest. London people have got a lot more money than they have in Manchester. They have, fact. Unless you live in Wilmslow or Alder, the Edge in Cheshire, that's fine. But unfortunately, Man City's fan base is predominantly working class, and they can't afford it. They just can't afford it. And London people have got a lot more money, and it's true they have.
I think it depends on what class you call yourself, and I think it depends on
before we tell everyone they're all poor and crap and they can't.
No, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Majority of City fans are working class families, and they're on budgets. At the moment, the way the world is, people in over here are on budgets now because of what's going on. It's the same here. Because of COVID, it's killed economies worldwide, because like you paid 80% of wages, government paid 80% of salaries for 2.5 years. We did near enough the same here, and it's killed the economy because you've got to pay it back. That's why the interest rates have gone up. That's the only way they've got. We all said at the time, there's no such thing as free money, and this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
I think it just comes down to, at the end of the day, it's a lot of money.
Yep.
The time is wrong.
Yep.
And I just think the way things are, like you said, Alan, I think it's just very unfair on any fan. It doesn't matter whether you're a City fan or an Arsenal fan, it's still going to cost money and your time. It's going to be slightly worse for City fans because most of them are going to be coming from Manchester. So that is the only argument I can see, really. I think the idea, which should have been Midlands, to be fair to everybody, because then you're travelling roughly the same sort of distance.
Yep. And you get home at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's the reasonable hour thing that I don't buy.
What do you mean reasonable hour?
Because when it's finals and semi-finals, we all march down there.
Mate, it's a pre-season friendly.
Right, I understand that. But all right then, quick one. What was the lineup last season versus Liverpool?
We played at Leicester, didn't we?
Nope, played at Wembley.
Oh, Pretty much the first team. But we have to wait. Yeah,
you
we
ready
have to
for
wait.
this?
Go on.
Edison, Walker, Diaz, Ake, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, KDB, Riyad Mahrez, Erling Haaland, Jack Grealish.
When do we play our first league game after that?
The next week. So
On
it's
the
6,
Monday.
7 days later.
On the Monday.
Right? And that was on Sunday as well.
We're now playing Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
and Friday.
I'm not disputing
Friday.
that, but you got to remember
Friday.
they are in Japan. You got to remember they're playing in Japan on Sunday.
But they're playing,
Following
playing
Sunday.
Friday. Yeah, but on Friday, they're actually playing on Friday, which doesn't help the situation either. 4 days later.
Mm.
So I'm sorry, he will be playing a lot of the kids. Definitely. Or if you just start with the first team, I'll guarantee you by the second half, all the kids will be on.
It was at the King Power last year, yeah. You're right. What day was it on? It was on the 30th of July at a sorry now, because I'm just getting it up now. It was on 5:30 kickoff. So this is what I think it's. Like I say, I agree with the boycott. I'm 100% behind it. But I'm going, because I've done both. I just don't think it's like I was trying. And listen, 1894 and amazing. And I totally back, like I said, to raise £7,500 MCFC Food Bank. Everyone who's donated to that, big up yourselves, because that is outstanding in a cost of living crisis. Honestly, it is amazing. Really is MCFC Food Bank. Such a great thing. And if you actually look below in the description, there is a link to their Facebook on there, which you can actually go and continue donating to if you wish to. So for me, what I said to Dante, I said, and Dante was right, it's the tipping point for each fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I understand people's predicaments.
I just think it needs to be a bigger game. Do it when, if it was United in the FA Cup final on a Sunday at Wembley, 5 o'clock kickoff, everyone goes. That's the best time to then boycott. Both Manchester clubs get together. We don't go. You're gonna play your semi-final in an empty stadium. See you later.
It won't, because United fans are from a lot of United fans are from London.
No, but what I mean is the bigger. I'm just of the belief for a major protest, you make as much noise, as much disruption as you can. Not where you're disarming people or you're making people's. Not like these oil protesters who are ruining people's lives. I don't mean that sort of problem. What I mean is, do it when you are going to make an impact. The Community Shield, I'm not sure is the right. But I will say, Dante did say it was a test. So maybe there's more to come.
Maybe there is.
Or they might end up with 30,000 tickets down there because City go, here's every ticket for a £5. So yeah. And then they fill it. And then you're like, what do you do? So I don't know. Do we want to end or should we do the Q&A? What does everyone want to do?
Well,
let me just read some of your comments. 64 likes. Please hit them likes. Them likes do actually help the channel. The more likes, the more interaction, the more people come and watch it. And there is a new intro coming. I'm going to look at another couple of ideas as well. I'm trying to come away from the transfer stuff because Rich is now on holiday for a month. Pat is on holiday for a month. I'm going away in 2 weeks. That's when the channel will go on a hiatus for 10 days. And we'll be back for the Community Shield. Unless Ozzy wants to do some watch-alongs for Japan with Alan. You can do the Japan ones. Here's a question: is anyone getting up for them?
Yeah, well, I can because of where I live.
Oh yeah,
only,
this is ideal for you, isn't it?
Well, it's the Japan's, I think it's 3 hours difference. They're behind us, so it won't be too bad for me.
I'm not sure if I'm on night shift, so
yeah,
it's quiet night shift. You never know.
Martin, you're gonna have to watch games and see how I have to suffer getting up at 3 and 4 in the morning. And
here's a question:
in the morning,
the City TV has gone from $1.99 to $4.99.
Yep,
bit cheeky, that, isn't it?
Well, everything's gone up, hasn't it? Everything's gone up. All companies have lifted prices of everything at the moment. Same here.
No, but it was done very quietly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it had gone up. So
yeah.
Did you not get the email?
No.
Yeah. Have you renewed, Martin? Have you renewed? I haven't. Of course he has.
Don't ask me about Manchester City.
He got the email and gone boom straight away. Eh?
I deleted the email. I've signed up. Yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
Question for Alan: is that a real living room?
Well, that noise at my office, which is part of my house.
I think he's asking: is that a green screen?
What? No, this is my office. It's there. It's no green screen here, trust me. That's my office at the back, and then upstairs is my living room, and downstairs is my bedroom. The bedrooms are also on the left-hand side as well, on this side as well. We've got 2 bedrooms here, another bedroom downstairs, a garage downstairs, and a living room and balcony. Well, it's got roof terrace, and a kitchen up there as well.
DJ Sus, welcome to the family, buddy. So go on.
I was just saying to you and Alan, what do we think of the new kits? Because the third one, I think, has been kind of sneakily shown now.
Oh, can I ask you one question while we're on that? Where's the star?
What star?
There's a star goes above a badge, highlighting we've won the Champions League, and they haven't put it on.
Really?
Every club that's won the Champions League has got a star.
You don't get when you've got someone 5, haven't you? Or 3.
No, you don't. Nottingham Forest have got 2. Aston Villa have got 1 above their badge.
I don't remember Chelsea.
Liverpool have got 6.
Chelsea didn't have them above theirs, Alan.
Chelsea have got them. Have a look at Chelsea's badge again.
Right, well, I'll tell you now. I'm just going to get them up on screen because we're just getting screenshots of them. I'm presuming he's talking about. Now, one of them is beautiful. One of them is an absolute monstrosity of a thing. And he's snapping down immediately.
I don't like it. I don't like either.
Oh, I love the third one. I'm in love with, and I'm just going to walk around with it 24/7. They can paint me in it. I love it. But the actual away one, get out of town.
When does it come out? Because Martin will be first in the queue. We're queuing overnight on it to get in.
Oh, I'm just trying to think now. Where is it? Anyway, it looks. Have you seen him, Alan? I know Ozzy has.
There's a psychedelic blue one and that white one, correct?
Psychedelic blue.
It's all different colours. It's like a fucking rainbow.
What do you mean psychedelic blue?
Just
right, this is the best I can actually get.
It's just a mess.
Crap. It's a bit naff. Right, this is the best I can get it.
Do you like the white one or not?
Right, this is the away one. But
I like colours. I do like colours.
No, well, that's orange. It's like a dirty orange and a bit of a dirty white as well. I don't like it. I think it's minging.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I will say, Alan, you are right. I like the colour.
I do like colour. That's horrible. That is disgusting.
That I am walking around with 24/7.
That, mate, you look like an ice cream van.
No, look, I've seen it live. Loads had it at the loads had it on at the Chelsea game.
Don't like it.
It is
the white one I could
live.
deal with. Is that the Champions League one?
No, it's the third one. It's dark black. Literally dark black.
Yeah.
And those electronic things.
They glow in the dark.
Pardon?
They glow in the dark.
No, they're like a turquoise.
Do they not glow in the dark?
No, they
Matthew?
don't glow in the dark. So, and then this is literally bright orange. It's lovely. I'm literally all over it. I'm all
Martin,
over it.
when does it come out? Has it come out already at the souvenir shop?
No, because as we broke, and I'm very proud of this because nobody did have this one. We did break this news here on this channel first. That Manchester City were closing the souvenir shop this summer. And we broke that 3 months ago, and no one believed us. Everyone thought we were telling porcupines.
Right.
And they have moved to City at Home. That is now official. And City Square has gone.
Yeah, it's been knocked down.
Stage has been removed.
So where the souvenir shop's in the centre city of the city now, isn't it? In the Arndale.
No, there's one there. The one at the stadium is at City at Home.
Oh, okay.
Am I right that they've got the trophies there on Saturday?
Tomorrow. Saturday. Yeah. No, is it? No, we're not midnight yet. Yes, they have.
They could have converted Mary D's into the souvenir shop, couldn't they?
Mary D's have their own little one.
At the back, they could have stuck it in Mary D's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the home one. I love the away
I've got
one.
I've got the home one for next season.
Tell you what I do like, the
Got that
goalie one. Do like the goalie ones.
The what one?
Goalie tops.
Oh, God,
Seen them.
yeah,
No,
I like the
purple
goal ones. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
See, I'm going to Marmaris. So while I'm in the bazaar, I might get myself 2 or 3 new shirts. Just,
Has anyone
Nice and
ordered
cheap.
the crown top yet? 3 crowns.
no. I haven't ordered that. Why have you?
Martin. I'm surprised. I thought you'd have been first in the queue.
No, I got in trouble for buying the Chinese one last year. Bought a new coat. I'm staying away at the minute because I'm going on holiday in 2 weeks, and if I go down, I'll spend money. By the way,
And
quick one.
You'll get the cheap one turkey, won't you?
Ethan has now got his KDB frame, and Andy, your Bernardo Silva frame is on its way. Ozzy and Rich and Pat know how much it did cost to send that over. In future, we may stick to UK competitions. That was a nightmare to get that out there.
Where do you live?
New Hampshire.
Oh, America, right? Okay.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it, Martin.
But it's a state. Oh, he'll love it. Oh, me giving his address. No, it's a state, so I'll never give his address out, but
No,
listen,
I'm sure he'll appreciate the effort. Is what
yeah,
I'm
he
saying.
loves it. I hope he does.
You know, when you say like City aren't a big club, when you go abroad on holiday, you never see a City shirt anywhere. My sister was in Athens last week, right? And this was in a shop outside and walking down, and these shitty shirts for sale. The City bought one. My sister bought one outside this shop in Athens. So there's City shirts everywhere now with Haaland on the back.
Is it the Arndale? Where are these trophies at? Because Ethan said it's at the stadium.
That's the Arndale I saw.
Is it the Arndale?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Arndale.
That away kit is one of the best kits we've done. It looks so nice. Which one? The white and orange one? Because I'm not buying you that. Your mum can buy you that. Turkey versions of Snyder. Check them. Thanks, Andrew. I won't be buying one now then. Am I setting up the FPL league? I have not. I need to figure out the login on that because I've lost the login, so I might have to set a brand new one up. But I will be doing one, I promise you. No, the Arndale. Right, I might go down then. Saturday.
I'm going to have to speak in a second or two, Martin, if you don't mind.
Right. Is there any more? I think just sees any questions from earlier on. Oh, yeah. Would anyone have Bernardo outside our top 5 most influential players? Yet he's only 9th by salary, same as Phillips. Would he have him outside our top 5 most, what, as in live or squad? If you're talking overall, he's not in the top 5.
He's in my top 5.
Is it?
I think the salary thing. I think the salary thing is the problem is he hasn't signed a new contract, so that's why his salary is still quite low. because that contract's been on the table for what, 3-ish years now, or
15 months.
yeah.
He has been offered a massive increase, but he won't. So I mean, I don't. If it was about money, he'd be at Saudi Arabia by now.
I think, you know, when you look at it,
he's going to Saudi when his missus is going to have a baby, and she won't want to go there when she's got a newborn baby. No chance.
I think if you look at the player that came in from Monaco, he has been
Brilliant.
You think of the squad that Monaco has, especially when we played them in that thriller, you know, both ends of the Champions League. Was it semi-final, remember rightly?
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinal, sorry. You know, he was probably, some would say, the second best pick after Mbappe. You know what I mean? I would probably say he's the first, because Mbappe, yes, he's brilliant, but as we've said so many times, he's playing in the Farmers League. You know, there's no denying he's got quality, but for me, he hasn't proved anything yet. Bernardo Silva has been at this club and he's proven that he can win everything, and he has won everything with City now. So
that's the thing. Does he? Will he be motivated because he literally has won every single trophy now?
Which brings me into this next question, and this is my worry. They wouldn't be happy if it was just Kovacic and Gvardiol.
Yeah, as long as the players don't go out the door that we don't need to get rid of and leave us in a hole.
I'm saying no, because my worry is the effect of Bernardo not leaving this time around, the effect of Laporte possibly not leaving, and I still think we need that, just that little bit more attacking quality on the wings. I know we haven't got the wingers, but I'm just saying that's what I feel we still need something.
Pep doesn't like out and out wingers because
no.
Listen, risk of losing the ball, he doesn't like. He likes people that keep hold of the ball, and if wingers go piling forward, leaves massive gaps at the back of the counter. That's why he likes the Grealish, who keeps the ball and just takes.
You argue for 30 minutes to keep Gomez in, and then you just give me that speech.
I haven't not argued about Gomez. I've just said that you can't have A-grade players sat on the bench. You have B-grade players that are sat on the bench.
Go on, Ozzy, you were saying.
Sorry, mate.
I think when it comes to it, you know, you've still got to have a quality bench. I'm not saying the quality has to be as good as your first team, but you've still got to have a quality bench. Arsenal are proving that by the signings they're making this summer, that they didn't have enough coming off that bench. They're now starting to get that. We have got quality, but we have also got players that are not happy, players that want to leave, and we've got an aging squad that needs attention. So I don't think just bringing in those two players is going to be enough, because I think if you don't bring in other players we're going to have. We talked about, you know, we need to look at this midfield. We talked about it needs improving, it needs changing, it's going to need refreshing. Kovacic isn't that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you rate him or not, Kovacic?
No, I think it's a brilliant signing. I do. I think he's a brilliant signing to come in and help the squad. Whether or not he plays first team all the time, we'll see. But I just feel with the movement around the midfield and the front, you are going to need just more improvements, and you're going to need younger players coming in.
Yeah.
I think
true.
If you don't start doing that this season, you've got more work to do next season, and you've added more.
I just think I don't think it's a case of going and getting players. I think it's getting the problem we've got is getting rid of players because of the high wages they're on, and the club and the state of clubs in Europe haven't got any money, and they don't want to sell to an English club. So I think we're in a quandary of, do we let the players go for next to nothing to get clubs to buy them, and then give the money that we should be doing to the clubs? We're going to have to pay players out. I'll guarantee you. We're going to have to pay players out at 12 months or 2 years on contracts. We can look. I'll give you an example, and it's a funny one. It's Harry Maguire at United. They're having to pay to get rid of him. They have to pay 10 million to walk out the door. They have to.
Do you know what it is with me?
10 million.
If we don't, I think if there's only a small amount of changes, because we're all presuming we're just going to kick on and go again. No one talks about we may have a bit of a difficult season. If we keep what we've got and we don't improve,
you stagnate, Martin.
Exactly. I have a theory. You stand still, you go backwards. My issue is, and I was going to say this earlier, this is my issue. Everyone up to now, if you look, every summer windows, there is a market for a position. So last season it was strikers. Season before centre backs. This summer is midfielders.
Yeah, correct.
Canal is gone. Not saying he was a target though. Kimmich is not for sale. Frankie de Jong, they want stupid money. Rice gone to Arsenal. Casado 100 million.
But saying that,
Alan McAllister gone.
Yeah.
Who can City now go for?
There isn't anyone.
Correct. You and Alan turned around earlier when we were talking about this and said you wouldn't do a swap deal for Bernardo and Cancelo for Frankie de Jong.
Oh, I would. I don't think the club will. The club have said they won't.
No, I agree.
But I think that's a deal to make, because you've got one player that is never going to play for the club again, and you've got his wages and you've got his attitude. You've got a player who doesn't want to be here. Barcelona want them, and they're willing to give you a player plus cash. I think it's
no. They want, when we inquired, and this was what I was told by the person who tells me stuff, it was Cancelo, Bernardo, and we give them money as well.
Yeah, that's bullshit. We could have.
And say we're like, no, we're not doing that. So they just ended at that point.
Because I think the other problem is that you have to consider the other player at the end of this deal. And Frankie de Jong, he didn't want to go to United when he was linked there, and I can't blame him on that score, if I'm honest. But his dream ever since being in Ajax was to play for Barcelona. So I don't really want a player to not want to come. I want a player to come to play for City under Pep. So
I'm going to say something else, and I've kept really quiet.
I think it's a difficult one, and we have to wait and see if Tick can do that deal. But at the end of the day, there's not a lot of alternatives now. And there's no point in getting rid. This is why I think Bernardo will end up staying.
No, I don't. Man to man, I think Bernardo goes.
I
think he goes
because you want him to go.
No, Alan. And again, no, I'm not saying because I want him to go. He wants to go.
So with Harry Kane and Levy saying, "I'm not selling him. He's not going anywhere," which he has.
That was one window.
He did that against for City, and he's doing it again now. Right? He said he's not going anywhere.
You tell me anywhere Harry Kane's come out quoted he wants to go.
Well, to Bayern Munich. It was in Tuchel's house. It was on holiday last week when Tuchel's talking to Tuchel. The picture.
I thought you didn't believe reporters.
Well, there's a picture I do.
You show me the picture of Harry Kane in Tuchel's house. Find me that photo and send it to me, please. You don't have to twist yourself into.
Well, Levy's told him he's not for sale.
Oh, Levy told you. Rang you up personally. No, Alan. When Bernardo has done it for 6 windows, that's when I have enough, Alan.
Yeah.
6 windows. Enough's enough, mate. And when you've had a contract on the table for 15 months, kind of tells you doesn't really want to stay. because you just sign. I get it. He's a fan favorite. You don't want him to go, but
I don't want because I love him. I think he's great.
you told me you rate him higher than David Silva the other day.
No, I did not. I
You
never said
bowled
that
over.
at all. Don't lie to me. We had an argument when you were in your car, and when you said that. I went, get lost. David Silva's my all-time favorite player. End of. And you know he is.
Anyway, no, I just think I'm with you, Ozzy. I think you're spot on. I think we're in danger of doing a Liverpool without realising it if we're not careful.
The thing is, Martin, is that we've won the treble, okay, and that team has been really pushed for the last few seasons. Okay, it's not only the treble, it's also the three-peat. You've got a lot of players who have done everything now. The likes of Bernardo, the likes of, Mahrez, and a few others that we're talking about. Where is the motivation for a lot of these players to do it again? Do you know what I mean? The likes of Foden, the likes of Haaland, the likes of Diaz, and a few others, they're still young enough that they're still hungry enough that they want more. For some of these players, I'm coming up to the end of my career. I've been here for a long time. Have I really got it in me to push myself more?
You know why? That's really clever what you just said. And you're absolutely 1,000% spot on. January, Pep said this team had lost all belief.
Yep. You've got to trust the manager on that one as well, mate.
No, but listen, it took the FA charges to kick us up the rear end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we've done it. If they were a bit last season, like Ozzy said, they might walk in and go, nah, kind of done it. Where do we go now? I'm kind of bored now. Cheers, thanks.
That's
if you're
why-
Haaland or you're Alvarez or you're someone who wants to go again, you're young enough, you're hungry. You're Kyle Walker at 32. Well, I'll hang around for a Real Madrid game. You're all right. I heard that someone said that in a space once. We need him for Real Madrid. So I can't sign a new contract for Real Madrid, mate. Don't work. Can you just play for Real Madrid? Be on the bench for the rest, please, if you don't mind. It don't work like that. It's a very difficult thing.
With all due respect, he should know he's not going to get the amount of games that he could do at 33.
Then he should be allowed to go. Then Alan.
Yeah, he's not going to. You can't.
By the way, I'm flabbergasted. This is how far we reach, which I'm flabbergasted on. By the way, hello, Martin. Currently watching on a plane to Vancouver. Hopping on a cruise once I'm there. Love the streams. Thank you, Citizens for Life.
Thanks, mate.
I mean, with that board, you've got to maintain your flight.
He's sat on the plane not watching the films. And he's
watching us.
He's watching us.
He's paid for Wi-Fi. He's paid for Wi-Fi on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get free.
It depends what airline it is, mate. He might be in business class. It's free then.
I think we'll end on this. Jesus comments. That's rare. I've seen uproar over this tonight.
I don't care. Don't care.
Are we all waiting for the Raheem Sterling autobiography to come out? That's going to be really intriguing when we get down to that one.
Yeah, I call him victim. It's never his fault.
I'm just thinking about when Raheem talks about his last 18 months at City and the situation with Pep that we know about, but not everyone else knows about. And you're like, that he's just going to explode on that one day. It's going to be fun. You've upgraded. Do you know why I agree with you? We've upgraded, but we haven't because Gvardiol was a want, not a need.
Yeah.
If I'd have said to you, a world-class centre-back was something we desperately needed in May, you'd have looked at me. Even though we all knew Gvardiol was a link, we'd have all thought, not really, because we conceded like hardly any goals from January. It's not really something that was on a necessarily list. It was That's like, I want it. I've got a PS4. I want a PS5 as well now. Because we've got now like 11 defenders. So it wasn't. He's brilliant. We've got him. And I think he'll be world class.
He's been bought for the next 10 years. He's been bought
very young, isn't he? He's very young.
Yeah.
If you'd have offered me a top class midfielder instead, I'd have took that.
So, question for you, Martin: Would you take Bellingham over Guardiola?
Yeah.
Alan, would
you know why? I think we got led up a garden path with Bellingham, but I think two clubs got led up a garden path with Bellingham. I think us and Liverpool got led up somewhere.
Yep.
And you know, because you know I wasn't BSing about what I'd seen, because you'd seen it on the Instagram, in the DMing.
Well,
I think it goes back to Zidane. I think it goes back to the time he met Zidane. I think that's, you look back then, because this was years ago when he went to where he met Zidane. I think it was him and his brother. There's a picture of it. I think that's the point where he was like, I'm going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's weird. I think City have been very weird. Like, stick a bid in for Rice.
Do you think they missed a trick with McAllister? Because I do.
I think that was already prearranged. Do you know what I'd do now?
They got a great deal, didn't they? Let's be honest.
I know what I'd do. I know he's not available, but I'd go and get a Valverde.
Yeah.
I'd just put a bid in for Kimmich. I'd even look at Bruno Guimaraes up at Newcastle. Barella at Inter Milan.
What about what's his face at Brighton, who's been linked heavily with Chelsea right now?
200 million though.
No, I know, but we're willing to slap down nearly 100 million for Rice. Both similar players. Okay, you could turn around and say Rice is the England international, blah blah, but he's not a bad player, and I think he could do very well at Chelsea. I think he could do very well at City, but we're not even looking at him. I've never heard a link.
I get it. I'm probably being a bit snobby there, going because I'm like people are saying I'm playing Champ Manager in a minute. Kimmich and all these. I'm off playing Champ Manager and FIFA. Yeah,
it's like the Rice deal. It's like the Rice deal, mate. It's like the Rice deal. Rice is a good player, and we know he's a good player, but he's not worth 105 million. He isn't worth 100 million. 60 million, 65 million at most was his value. That's it for me. But there's no way we should be paying stupid money for a good player. He is a good player, but he's not worth that. Nowhere near.
No, you're right.
I'll tell you why it's not a need in 5 minutes. We'll have a chat. We'll go through it. It's not a need at all. Laporte going, yeah, when someone buys him. But apparently, one of the issues with Cancelo we've heard is City people are only offering loan offers with no obligation to buy, and City are like, no, because they don't want to loan him for him to come back again and have the exact same problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Next summer.
Yeah, they want to get rid.
This is the problem, and you can only loan so many players at one go.
Yeah, you can't.
So if the plan is to loan some EDS out, what do you do then? You can't start loaning Laporte. This is the problem. It's because they've changed the rules to stop you just loaning everybody.
They'll end up letting them go for next to nothing.
I think that's what I'll end up with Bernardo Silva if he goes.
Yeah, because you can't get.
He'll just be let out for 40 million.
I saw comments this morning saying they're looking at 45 million for him.
Someone said there's been all sorts. Camavinga.
He's a player that I think is very good.
Too defensive, though. Not enough defense.
I don't know, Martin. I think that's underrated.
I'd have Tuchemena.
Well, he's been linked with a move away from Real Madrid now, which I think is very surprising.
Kimmich, or I'd drool all the way to the world to get him out.
He's not coming out of Bayern.
I know, but that is my dream boy. That is my dream. He's a Rolls Royce of a midfielder. Yeah, I don't care. I am playing it. I'm enjoying it. Casado, don't know. Something about him doesn't excite me.
The thing is, Martin, I think again you are looking for a championship manager right now. Like you are just playing in the big boys kind of. You're looking at the best players in the world. I would actually look at Brighton and their
Scouting.
scouting system, because they have brought in some brilliant players.
Yeah, they have.
They go
Brilliant
direct to
players.
source, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
If you look, we have a lot of teams who they'll want a Casado, but what they'll do is they'll let a Brighton or a Villa pick them off for 5 million.
Yeah.
And then trying to get them for 40 million. But then what happens is, because Brighton are going direct to the source, they're like, nah, we'll have him for 5 million and sell him on for 100. You want him that much. So maybe in a way, because we're one of the few European clubs that do it, we go direct to source. Julian Alvarez, Maximum Perona.
Yep.
So I suppose we can do, but I'm thinking of it as in a Bernardo replacement. And for a Bernardo replacement, you need someone top. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's why I'm shopping at
Well, this is what I'm saying. If they can't get a direct replacement who's top, you don't sell him.
See, that to me is not in Cisco. Because he scored 1 goal against City. And we're talking Bernardo replacement.
The thing is that if you're not going to get a direct Bernardo replacement, then you're looking at bringing Foden into the midfield, and then you need to look at the wing. Do you know what I mean? Then look at bringing someone in to take over the wing position. I know we're not playing wingers, but you know what I mean.
One link, though, has there?
No, that's
one link to anyone.
But that's my thing, Martin. I don't understand. It seems there doesn't seem to be a plan from City, and I know they're very kind of quiet when it comes. They try not to kind of announce who they're going after all the time, but there's very little even coming from journalists going.
In midfield this year, apart from Kozovic, they've missed out on some of the targets. They have missed out on them.
Oh yeah, I know that, because I know the number one was Bellingham, and it was Rice. I know De Jong was on it. Kimmich was on the list.
Yeah,
because there was remember when Kimmich was having that big thing when Nagelsmann left, because he was very close with it. Tuchel come in. That's when there was, right, could we? See, it's very, when people go, City want him, there's a big difference between being on a list and ringing up and going, can we just ask, is there a possibility? Because that sometimes happens. But then it comes out as City want this player. No, 1,000 phone calls like that happen a week. It's like this Gabby Vega. City have inquired about him, but they inquired about back in March. He's 35 million quid.
PSG in for him now.
Yes, but Alan, we're in the middle of July nearly. City don't take 5 months to activate a release clause. If they really want somebody,
no,
they'd have just activated it and 35 million quid. It tells me they're not overly that bothered.
Plus, you have to think, Martin, City do most of their business at the beginning of the window. I know we're still early days in the window, but normally by now we know who we're going for. And so far, we've brought in one player. Yes, Guardiola is close, but until it's done, it's still just one player. And we're talking about this team needs refreshing. This team needs hunger, especially in that midfield.
I think from what we could research, the plan was to refresh. They're just finding it more difficult to get players out. This is what I said at the beginning, because we've got such a big squad. Numbers. You got to remember the reason why it's bigger wise now, because some of our loanees have come back. So and then you've got to bring them back into the fold. Like Cancelo wasn't included in the squad, now he's back, so he has to go in. So it's like, where do we go with it? Kovacic is now added. Gavardi will be added. They've got to come into that squad. So this is what I mean. It balances out that way. But I'm sure that squad will dwindle down. Like Shea Charles, we've just sold him for $9.5 million tonight. Clearly not Rotherham were after him on loan, but couldn't get him because they were told he was going out. But what was it? That's the problem. They're making money off players who are not included in that 25-man squad. The EDS that are currently going out, not first teamers. And when I mean first team squad. Like you can't sell those. I don't mean,
Yeah.
So, why it all comes back to what we said 2 hours ago. Bernardo Silva is a domino that has to fall either way at some point. Because this is what I'm going to say right now, and you can quote me on this. In 6 months' time, if we're third in the league, you're all going to come in here and have a meltdown. I know exactly what you're all going to say. We did not strengthen enough in the summer. Quote me on it right now. And Ozzy probably agrees because he's nodding his head up there.
Yeah, I do.
And Alan will come on and go, bloody, we should have bloody bought. I bloody said, bloody.
I mean,
no, because we've dicked around again waiting for a certain player to make his mind up.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said to you earlier on, Martin, I made a comment about Walker a few weeks back. It was very much heart over head. Do you know what I mean? I've had time to reflect on it. And I thought, actually, I love Walker. I'd like him to stay, but we really have to look at bringing in.
I'm not laughing at you, Ozzy. This is what I mean. Look at I want 5. This is where people are at now. I'm just happy with the Premier League next year and go home again. Oh, bless. No, I get it.
To win all that, though, Martin, you're going to have to refresh.
Yeah, we won't be able to go with the squad we've got now. And by the way, and that's all I was meaning earlier on, I don't class McAtee and Gomez as a refresh. They're there. They're not a refresh. I want to see first teamers refreshed. And I know that's a big one, and I'm kicking the baby out with the bathwater, but we'll see.
There isn't of them type of players that we would require at a City standard available. That's the problem.
See, I like Rice. I think they should have pushed more for Rice.
It wasn't worth that kind of money.
But remember what I said 6 months ago? In fact, I said it about a month ago. What did I say, Alan? Anyone's City buy will be big money.
I understand that, but it's not. You're looking value for money. There's no way Rice is worth 105 million. No way in a million years.
Well, was Grealish worth 100?
That was a buyout clause, though, wasn't it?
I think, in all honesty, there are those players out there, but I think it's when you're talking the likes of Frankie de Jongs and others, Kimmich's, you're talking about big value players. There are other players in Europe that you can go and guess that are not going to cost you the earth, but you're going to have to give them time.
Yep, I agree.
You've got to be smart, and there are very, very good players out there playing in all the European leagues.
Well, you've got
to take off your rose-tinted glasses for a minute and go, okay, they're not, Frankie de Jongs, they're not Kimmich's, but they are very good players.
I mean, by the way, Alec, no one's worrying, mate. We're just saying, you know us, we keep our feet on the ground, mate. That's the way we are. By January and February, if we're flying again, we'll see what happens, I might be the bloody quad father, sextuple father by then. I don't know where we'll be at. But what I'm saying is that right now, City for Life made a great point earlier. We've been very lucky with injuries for 2 years.
Yep. And as we get older,
hold forever. Yeah. And I know this sounds so pessimistic, if Calvin does not improve, what'd you do?
Look at Rodri. We've all been saying it for the last few years. He's burnt out. And if Phillips doesn't step up, what do we do? Because I don't think Roger will do a full season. I just don't. I don't think he can play every game. He will get injured.
He didn't have a lot of injuries last season, Julie, not long-term ones. Foden was probably the only one. Yeah, that's a great point. No, I get, like I said, the more games is a bit of a fallacy because it's only three games. And one of them's done on August the 16th. And then you've got 2 in Saudi Arabia in December.
Yeah.
So it's really only 2 extra games.
Yeah.
Really. But anyway, we'll call it there. I'm just, listen, all I'm saying is enjoy next year. Let's enjoy the summer. What will be, will be. Some are off to Wembley, some are not.
You're going to Turkey, aren't you, Martin?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, I've got to go because I've got some work to do because it's a work time now.
We're ending now anyway, mate.
Yeah.
I want to say a big thank you to Andy from earlier on Beta. Big thank you to Ozzy for coming on. Big thank you to Alan in his office for coming on. Yeah, and as soon as the Gavardio deal breaks, we'll come live. We will come live. If not, we'll see what we'll do. We'll do something. I've got a plan. We've got an idea with the transfer show. I might cut the transfer shows into snippets and do it as a daily thing rather than just doing a big 2-hour show on transfers.
Okay,
I'm getting bored of them. It's boring now, transfers. I want to talk football. But we'll see. I do want to do a quiz one night with Ozzy and Alan and Andy. I want to get a team quiz going. I want to do a quiz night one night. I think it'd be really good. Just come away from talking about players, transfers, and we'll do a proper quiz night where we all enjoy it. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Anyway, if you can smash that like on the way out, that'd be amazing. If you are new, please hit that subscribe. We are 45 away from 2,000 now. We are creeping. Sorry, nearly 42. We are 42 away from 2,000. We are creeping slowly. But anyway, when are we going to have a fight on FIFA? Alan doesn't play FIFA.
Don't understand computer games.
Alan's still on Game Boys. Game Boy. For anyone who wants to try and change that one around. Anyway, you go and enjoy Babe Station, mate. Have fun. Yeah. See you all soon. Back 8K next year. Bloody wish. Take care. Have a great evening. We'll see you all. I'm going to have a guess about Sunday. Let's see.
Enjoy the test matches. Well, enjoy the cricket as well if you're watching it in a day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.